What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up.
What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? It is Tech Thursday, DJ Tech Thursday. I am your part-time host, Cleveland Terry. Good to see everybody today. It's good to be on. It feels real early for me today, but I feel rested. Not as rested as I should be. I feel like I've been kind of working like crazy right now. I'm sure that a lot of you guys and girls are like me, where it feels like, I don't know, it just feels like, the parties are rolling. People are calling. I'm on meetings way too much right now. But it's never a bad thing. It's one of those things where you find yourself complaining, but you really can't complain, because in reality, it's a good thing that you're so busy. I had this one client of mine, actually a previous client of mine. I saw her at a party that we were doing last weekend. And she's like, "How's everything going?" I'm just like, "We're just busy." She's like, "It's a good thing." They always say that to you. Everybody always says that to you. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's like, yeah, man. I know it's a good thing. I know it's a good thing that we're busy. It doesn't change the fact that, like, sometimes it feels like you're completely underwater. You know, my wife would always say to me, "You complain about everything. You complain about it when you're busy. You complain about it when you're not busy." I said, "That's your job. That's your job, wife. Your job is to sit there and listen to my bitching and realize that you're just a sounding board. You're here for only one reason. Only one reason. Let's see, hear me complain. And if that's not good enough for you, then you got to do something else." I need a wife that can just hear me complain and not say a word. We need to complain, right? You ever complain to your friends? That's what your wife's for. Your wife's here to hear you. So let me move this chat over here so I can see what's going on. Make sure all my audio is working. We don't want any incidents. I'm always concerned now. Every time I talk, I have my audio meters way up in the corner. That way, I can make sure that my mic works, because I won't go through what I went through before ever again. See, MPC3G says, "Good problem to have." Yeah, it is a good problem to have. Now, look, I will say this, and this is without 100% ego at all. But at a certain point, you have to realize, you are where you are because of what you do, because of the quality of events, or whatever you're doing, whatever business you're doing, because the quality of events that you're doing or the work you're doing is good. So, yes, I am very, very happy that we're busy. But we're busy because we do a good job. So, you understand what I'm saying? While I appreciate the fact that, yes, I'm fortunate that I have all the work I do, I keep the work because of the quality of work I do. So when people say, "Oh, you're lucky to have it, it's a good thing to have," well, yeah, but it's also because I work my ass off. And the actions that I take lead to the amount of work that I have. It's like, when there's a sports player or boxer, football player, whatever, and then they win the game and like, hey, you're live on Channel 7. What do you think was the reasons that, you guys succeeded? Well, first I want to thank glory to God. Without him, this wouldn't be possible, and it's just like, well, God doesn't care. God doesn't care about your football game. You played that game. God had nothing to do with you playing that game. He might have given you the skill sets, but your hard work, your learning zone coverages so you could throw the ball to the right person is really what would won that game. So I've never subscribed to the whole, anyway, I don't want to piss off any religious people out there because I am religious, but I've always been of the mindset that you're supposed to work hard. If you want something, you work hard. You can't sit and wait for it to come to you. I know people that are like, God has a plan. God has a plan for me. And I'm just waiting for God's plan to kick in. And I'm just sitting here like, maybe you should do some work. Maybe if you do some work, the people will come. Are you advertising? Are you doing anything to get your name out there? God will provide. I think he already has. I think it's your job now to make something out of it. I don't know. I'm just I don't know. Maybe I'm pissing people off right now. It is what it is. So, welcome to DJ Tech Thursday, where we talk about any and all things surrounding DJ stuff. Any and all. So that could be DJ business. That's DJ gear. That is DJ life. And life in general. In my life, we talk a lot about my life. And hopefully my life translates to relatable topics for your life. I like to think that I'm just a guy on a microphone that's doing the exact same thing that you guys are and girls. I just have a slightly larger platform. Matt Ames in the building. He says, if you go on mute today, talk to the big guy. So that's exactly what. It's like when I muted my audio card and then you couldn't hear me for 10 minutes. Was that God's way of teaching me a lesson? No, that's my way of being dumb and hitting the mute and not unmuting. Can't blame God for everything. Trust me. As much as, you religious or not religious, there's a lot of things right now that a lot of people, should be at least questioning. The world that we're living in right now, we should be questioning a little bit. Because God's plan is real ambiguous right now. Anyway. Matt Ames in the building. Philip Tan in the building. I see T Diesel. That's my mod. I already said NPC 3G. Lance in the building. Maniac. DJ Pac. DJ Kenny. Good to see you, man. DJ Kenny came to a very, small. I was DJing at an axe throwing restaurant, whatever you want to call it. And he came out to support, and I appreciate DJ Kenny for that. I'm actually back there on Friday. I was so my guy, actually one of the guys that works for me, he's the one that went out. We were just talking about go out and do your own thing. He went out and just started talking to people. Started asking, hey, I noticed you don't have a DJ here. I'd love to be your DJ, for on Fridays or whatever, and I'll come out and blah, blah, blah. If I can't do it, I'll fill it in with somebody else, yada, yada, yada. So they were like, we'll give it a try. So he just made himself work, and he did that for like 3 or 4 clubs, smaller clubs in the Hollywood / not really Hollywood, but like LA, Chinatown area. And he got like 3 or 4 gigs because of it. So he's just making his own opportunities. So he has been traveling and stuff, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to work." So I worked on Friday, and you always want to. I always take it easy when I haven't been to a spot, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to piss people off. You don't want to walk in there and then you start going a certain way, and they're like, "What? I don't know, man. Other DJs go this way." Like, you don't want to do that. You want to kind of feel it out and see what's going on. So for the first, hour or so, I played it real conservative, and then I was just kind of watching the manager and everything, and because I'm kind of stuck in a corner, so I can't see what anybody else is doing. That's the hardest part of DJing, is when you don't know how people are reacting. So you have to kind of create your own energy. You have to create your own vibe. You are the curator of the evening. So I took it easy in the beginning, and then as I got more comfortable with, like, okay, this is what this room is like, this is what it is, cool. So then I could kind of go in and start playing what I wanted to play, but still keeping it a little safe. But at the end of the night, the manager's like, "Hey, no, we loved it." The people are like, which is always interesting to me. Like, 'cause if you want to know how good you're doing, don't worry about the people that are there. Focus on the wait staff. Focus on the people that are there every single night. They will show you where you are. If they're coming up to you left and right, like, "Yeah, this was amazing. You played stuff I'd never heard before. I was jamming all night." And, you can tell when a real DJ comes in versus when other people come in. It was obvious, from the jump. And I didn't even I felt like I didn't even really do a good job, especially for that first couple hours, until I got like, okay, let's go in. Let's go. Let's just do our thing now. But that's always the answer. Thanks, T Diesel. So they were like, "Yeah, you can come back anytime, blah, blah, blah." And I told my guy, "Yeah, so I'm back there this Friday. Should be fun. It should be fun." I had a gig. Last week was very, very busy. So I had gigs. I had gigs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday was not a big deal. Friday was the axe throwing place. Saturday, I had a bat mitzvah actually, that evening. And then right after my gig, I had to go to another nightclub to DJ out in Westlake. I purposefully put my party, because we had like 6 events. My company as a whole, we did, just through the company, 9 events this weekend. So I could kind of pick and choose. And because I was like, "Oh, well, I'm in Westlake and I have a party that's, maybe 10 minutes away from there." So I put myself on that party, so that way I could leave. I had a roadie with me, another DJ, and I had a DJ come in. He at 11 o'clock, I'm like, "I got to go." So I took off to the club and DJ'd there until 2 a.m. So it was a long night. It's always a little hard to kind of get your mind right, because you've just been DJing like a completely different style party. And now you got to go and like be amped and do all the things. That was cool. One thing that was, I don't want to say it was cool or wasn't cool. There was an opening DJ. Now, normally speaking, at this particular club, there's a DJ that kind of runs it. He's like the promoter / and he's always the opening DJ. Then he brings in people, and he brings in lots of people. I mean, he brings in people, the Road Podcast people he's brought in, lots of people from Vegas. He'll have come out. But when he DJs, he leaves it wide open for the headlining DJ, like wide open. And at this point, he had to go to another event. So he brought in an opener. And I got there at like 11:25, 11:15. And normally when I get there, I'm DJing pretty much by like 11:30 till closing. So basically, a little over 2 hours. I got there and the DJ, and I understand. I'm not, I want to make something clear. I'd never want to just come in and be like, move. You know what I mean? Like, if you're an opener, it's always hard to be an opener because typically speaking, you'll come in at like 9 p.m., right when the doors open, and you're playing for no one. So probably from between 9 and 11, maybe 10:30, he was playing probably to an empty room. So when you start to get around 11, people start to show up by like 11:15. Now the room is actually, kind of packed. People start a little earlier on this side. It's not like Hollywood where they get in at like 12, 12:30. Although the clubs I've been DJing in Hollywood, by about 11:30, it is pretty packed. So let's just say, when I'm there, it's 11:25. It's packed. He's finally got people. So I'm just like, do your thing, man. He's like, what, you tell me when you're gonna get on. I'm like, dude, go ahead, do your thing. Which was good and bad, because when you say do your thing and it's like 11:30 and it's packed, people start to get this feeling, I need to go in. I need to go in. So he started playing stuff that, as the person headlining, and look, headlining is such a strong term. I don't really care about what it is, but as the person coming in to close the night, he started playing some stuff where I was like, yeah, I was going to play that. Yeah, I was going to play that too. Yeah, I was going to play that too. And now I'm like, how much stuff? And I'm trying to be like positive, like, how much stuff are you going to play, man? Like you're getting to a point now, but I don't say anything because, one of the things that has always bothered me, every club is different. Every club is different. Like, there's clubs that I've done like in San Diego where they're like, they'll come right up and say, do not hold back. You play like it's your club, even if it's 10 p.m. Do not hold back. But, obviously the closing DJ is always like, yeah, but come on, man. Don't take my hot shit. Like, leave me something. So he's DJing. I haven't said a word. It's like 11:40 now. He's going in. He's kind of a Latin DJ, so a lot of Latin remixes. A couple that were fire. And by 11:45, he finally goes, "Hey, let me know when you want to get on." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." I had already set up my computer and everything, so no big deal. And then I got on. One of the things I've prided myself on, because there were a couple other DJs as I was kind of coming up, especially doing a lot of openings. And the one thing I always loved about DJs is, especially DJs that are, that want to believe they're, operating on a level higher than others, is that they don't care what you play. Like, a good DJ, a really good DJ doesn't really care what you play. He'll go, okay, you're going here. Cool. All right, I'll work around that. I'll work around that. I'm a DJ. I'm supposed to know a whole bunch of music. So if you happen to play 5 or 10 hot records that I was going to play, I should be able to adjust. And that's kind of the way I've gone through everything. Now I'm like, whatever, man. I'll work around it. Not a big deal. I have songs that I have substitutes on that I can substitute for those things. It's not a big deal. And I don't even care where you are. There's a lot of people that'll say, oh, I need to start at 90 beats per minute, or I need to start at 125. I'm like, just whatever you're in. I have ways to go from where you are and then get to wherever I need to go. That's what a DJ should be able to do, which is why, I do not come in with a full-on playlist, a set list. I don't do it. It's for me. I can't speak for everybody. But in my opinion, unless they hired you to be you and you do whatever you want to do, there's no reason for a set list. Yeah, you can have like kind of a starting point or a few songs that work together to kind of get your bearings. but I don't believe that you should have an actual set list number 1 to 35 or 1 to 50. And the reason why is a couple of reasons. One, you don't know how the crowd's going to be. And because they didn't come to see you, you can't do like, I don't know, the Four Color Zach show where people are coming to see him so he can set up his routine and just fly through routines all night long. Can't really do that. You know, when you're DJing a club, you have to play for them, which means that your set list is probably out the door because I mean, I don't know how many times I've started playing stuff and going, okay, I got to shift. This doesn't work. This isn't working, or this isn't where I want to have them. So I'll have like all my music in the folder that I want to work off of. And I might have some songs that like these work, but I might get to song 4 and be like, I want to go somewhere else. And now I'm jumping all over the place. So I like to have what I call, I have a routines folder. And in that routines folder, there's probably, I don't know, 15 to 20 routines that work. And there are pockets of songs that are maybe, 4 and 5 or 6 songs that all work together, wordplay, whatever. That way, if I know I want to go to a place, I just go to the routine folder, click on that, and I'm in the speed I want to get to, and then go from there. That's kind of my thoughts, because I don't know. I'm not in a position anymore where I can just remember every single routine I've ever done. And even now, when I'm going back and let's say I'm practicing whatever, working on some new wordplay or whatever, and in my brain, I'm like, oh, why did I play that song? Oh, why didn't I play that song? It was there. It was in the folder. It wasn't like I just didn't have it. I just, you're amped. You're reading the crowd. You're playing what it is, and it is what it is. So, but it's a good thing because then you can go, wow, that was successful. And I didn't even play these songs. Let me just incorporate these in the next time I'm there, and then you're all good. So, and I got to do some more cleaning again. My playlist folders are getting a little unwieldy again. And, I don't know why. So I got to go back in and do some cleaning, to get it or reorganize a little bit more. All right. Why is my mouse not working? All right, hold on. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Philton says, I'm usually playing opening sets nowadays. Let the younger DJs have the high energy late hours. What are you going home, Philip? You're like, thanks guys. It's 10:30. I gotta go. Now, to be fair, the opening DJ, he did leave early. I mean, he probably watched me play for, I don't know, 30 minutes, and then he took off. So it happens. Let's see here. Pablo, so they're saying to release the hot stuff. Hey Pablo, how are you? Patrick says opening burning the main. That's not cool. I just realized it's not really anything. I don't think about it anymore. I don't think about it. There's enough music to go around. Now, if it was a song that maybe I had really wanted to do in a routine, yeah, maybe I'd be a little annoyed, but it's like every routine I have has different ways to go in and out of it. Every routine. So I'm not really worried if that's the case. I was watching a Burning Man video because the whole chaos of Burning Man this year. And it was this random conversation between Chris Rock and Diplo. And Chris Rock was saying how he used to DJ and he was, homies with, Grandmaster Flash and all those people. But he didn't see a future in it. So he went into comedy. And then he was like, had I known, I might have just continued to DJ. But Diplo said something right before it all ended. And this is the kind of stuff I can't stand. Apparently Grandmaster Flash he said every time I DJ with Grandmaster Flash, he gives me a list of like 400 songs that I can't play. 400 songs. That's absolutely ridiculous. So there are levels to this. And yeah, if I had like a real big thing and I'm like, look, man, you know, I would never give 400. I'd probably give like 10. Like, don't play these songs. These are in some really, really big routines that I plan on doing that night, you know. But one thing you have to realize is that people are drunk, first off. And if a dude played something at 10:30, you can play that thing at 12:30. The same people aren't even there, you know? And depending on the version in which I knew I had an easy out because he was a Latin DJ. A lot of his music were Latin remixes, you know, reggaeton beats and build-ups and breakdowns that go somewhere completely different. So I know that if I play the original of said song, the people aren't going to think, I already heard this song. They're going to be like, oh, cool, the original now. All right, cool. So I don't really worry about that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to play what he played in the same half hour. You know, I'm looking at his 11 to 11:30 and I'll go, okay, cool. And I start playing that. People are going to be like, well, why would you do that? But always, if there's a person that's in before you, ask them, hey, let me see your playlist. And you just go to their history real quick and then just scroll through, just see the vibe they were putting on. There's nothing wrong with that. And the DJ that's there before you should not even worry about it. Now, obviously, in the best world, best case scenario, you're there early so you can really just hear, you know, say from 10:30 to 11:30, you can hear their set. That's the best case scenario. I was coming from another party, so it just wasn't possible. But in general, if I did not work, I 100% would have been there around 10:30. You know, grab a couple of drinks and then just chill and listen to his vibe. And then I know where I want to go because I kind of went in a little bit blind. So yeah. Fresh Herb says, I have definitely been the opener and the closer, and all that you said is truth. Yeah. Larry Patterson, opening DJ sets the mood, closing DJ hits them with all the bangers. And you know, it was interesting too, because normally I play a little earlier. So by the time I got on, yeah, I went slower, because he was rocking around 128, 130. And, so I came in at 130 and then I transitioned down to 100, and I stayed in 100 for a while that night. And the last time I was there, I probably jumped around a little more, and I stayed in 100 because the crowd just felt around there. Like he was going Latin house and, you know, that EDM. And I felt like they probably didn't get any. So when I went to 100 and I saw the reaction from people, I was like, I got to stay in here longer. And I ended up staying in there probably for, I don't know, an hour. I mean, relative 100 to say, you know, 110, you know, 90 through that range. And then finally, I don't know, at about like 115, I finally just went in hard EDM, hard house, to just kind of put him through the roof all the way till, you know, 145 when the lights come on and the bartenders were telling everybody to get out. So, it was, I like where I am, artistically, you know, it's a process, guys. You know, I've been DJing for a long time. And when I tell you I'm always learning new things and, learning or changing up the way that I do things, or seeing somebody do it in a way where I'm like, I like his style. That's where I want to be. Let me work on that. You know, it's taken a minute to get to that point. And especially considering, you know, I had not really been doing clubs for the longest time. And I made a push this year to get on a level where, you know, I should be as far as being out there performing, not my normal DJ gigs. So, you know, I've had to work at it though. You know, you get out there, you start DJing clubs, and your brain, it doesn't translate first. It's a different type of style when you're DJing clubs with, you know, a lot of people. Yeah, the thing about it is they'll tolerate more, you know, when there's a lot of people and they're all drinking, but like you also have the potential to really, really put them over the top. And that's where the hard work and practice come in. you know. Knowing all the music that maybe you don't play anymore, but you got to bring it back. Knowing just operating on a different level. I always wanted to be that DJ that when they came in, they actually put more energy into the room. I always wanted to be that DJ. And literally up till now, I'm still getting there. Our artistry is a work in progress. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no perfect. There's just your own personal growth. So I'm very transparent with things I do. I know when I'm good, I know when I'm bad, and everybody's got their levels, and the ability to be constructively critical of yourself is what sets you apart from everyone else. In all honesty, that's like the number one thing. When you do a good job, do you sit there and say, I did a good job, and then that's it? Or do you go back and listen to your recording and you're like, but that could have been better, and that could have been better, and that could have been better. I'm going to work on cleaning those up. Oh, okay, this was great. Oh, but that transition where I scratched that one part out, that was trash. I really gotta improve on my scratch techniques. I gotta practice a little more. I see that, I say that, I see that, I feel that. Every time I work, I'm always trying to get better. I spent the last few weeks, hard on my hands, just getting them, be quiet, Pablo. Just getting them to a level where anything that I want to do, I can do. It's just a work in progress, and I'm never going to stop being a work in progress. I'm just going to keep going, keep getting better and better. And then I'll get to a level where I'm like, I think I'm pretty good. Like, I know that I'm a good DJ. That's not what I'm saying. I think, at a certain point, what you're capable of doing, and what you're doing. But to be like a great DJ, that takes a whole nother level of discipline, of skill sets, of everything. So I've just been working on that, and adding more techniques to what I do. I know a lot of people are like, you don't have to scratch. You don't have to scratch to be a good DJ. And you don't. But when you do, and you do it right, nobody can touch you. There's not one person out there, not one person that's at a club going, God, he was banging the whole night, except, I don't know, I just didn't really need to hear the scratches. Like, nobody's saying that. Now, they will say it if you're trash and your scratches are trash and everything's trash, and they're like, oh, I wish that DJ would stop scratching, because you're not supposed to scratch everything. But, there's points where scratching comes into play. So when people say you don't need to scratch, I think that's a crock of shit. I think that is literally people that don't want to do the work. It has nothing to do with scratching. It has to do with them not wanting to do the work, or not knowing how to do it and making excuses for it. Because in case you guys didn't know, Skrillex, he doesn't scratch on his events. He can. Diplo, he doesn't scratch on his shows, but he can. All these people I've seen kill it on the decks. They just choose not to, but they can. And there are levels to this. Like A-Trak. A-Trak's a scratcher. So he plays a lot of house music, but he does a lot of scratching. But he's scratching like an instrument. He's like his own lead guitar. And you go to the A-Trak show for that, because he's scratching in a way now that is so obscure that it is now an instrument. Because it's just sounds and notes, and it's he's interesting. He's interesting. I've seen him live. I was at a place. I was at DJ City where he performed there, and then they interviewed him after, and he was talking about all the stuff, and it's just he's an interesting dude. He's a very interesting dude. Funk Fun Nostalgia says, I set up my first 3 songs. The rest is vibe with the theme. I'm going with That Tuesday for My Lives, but I always start with the banger and end with the banger. Yeah. So I'm the same way. You know, I have my folder, and yeah, the first 5 to 10 tracks are definitely pre-planned, and they're only pre-planned just so I can just get my bearings right. Because when you walk into a place, any place, the situation is different. Okay, so for instance, in this one, I'm a left computer DJ. Okay, that's where my computer goes, on the left side. If it's on the right side, it drives me crazy. Stupid, absolutely. I don't like doing it, you know, just like I'm a right side speaker guy, left side computer, right side monitor. All right. If I'm listening in my left side, I'm not as good of a DJ. Isn't that weird? It just, everything's off. And that's what happened when I was at Moe's. The monitor was on their left side. And the first hour, I'm like, oh my God, this is annoying. So I literally, found a longer song and then moved the speaker, physically moved it to the other side because it was driving me nuts. Everybody's got their thing. It's a quirk, but it is what I am. So when I set up on the right side, because the guy was already on the left side, when I finally got on, yeah, those first 5 to 10 songs is me getting used to working off the reloops because they have reloops there. And I don't mind the reloop turntables. I don't mind them at all. I don't love the height of the platter. It's very high. And maybe some people don't care, but for me, especially because I'm a side adjuster, that's all from using phase. You start to, I no longer use the spindle to slow down or speed up my track. I'm all the sides. And the reloop platter, where my hand normally naturally goes, is higher, and I end up touching like weird parts of the platter. Like there's this, I don't even know how to explain it. There's like a so if you're thinking about the techniques, you got the side, and under it has that, but then like underneath it, there's another piece, and it's maybe, I don't know, half an inch or whatever, but it's got this slightly thicker ring that operates around it. So you find yourself hitting that more until you get used to where your hands are supposed to be. And I don't mind the reloops. It just I just don't love that about them. So I'm getting used to the reloops. The mixer they use there is an S9. I got to get used to the S9 again without having independent pad modes and those things. So there's a lot of things that you're doing in the beginning to just get acclimated. My computer being on the other side was annoying. And then finally, when the guy moved it, I moved my computer to the other side when he finally broke down. So it's like, all those things are in the first, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, when you're doing it. You're scratching a little bit, doing some baby scratches, just trying to feel the platters. And now the speed of those platters, the torque of those platters, you're checking the crossfader, make sure that it's actually working and not bleeding, the curve, all of these things are happening in the beginning of your set. So you're just trying to make sure you're playing hot tracks, but you're not going in yet because you're not comfortable yet, So then finally you get to that point, and then you can finally start going in, because every so often, like, you might do something and your hands are like, I don't want to scratch today. It's a thing where your hands are literally like, I do not want to scratch. Oh, you like scribble scratches? Not today. Your hand's just like, like it's just not comfortable. So I have been practicing, a way to improve that, because it's really my left hand. Everybody's got a strong hand when they scratch. You have a strong hand, and then you have more control, and in one of your hands, unless you're really, really good and you're doing both. So my right hand is my power hand. I have more control. So this hand is for the crossfader because, your brain is able to do more with that hand. But if I'm doing like scribble scratches and all that stuff, I can do them easier with my right hand because that's my power hand. But for my other hand, it took a long time to be able to do a scribble. It took a long time. Because it's just not your strong hand. It's not your dominant hand. Then I finally got to it. But even still, to this day, my only thing was like, I got to be able to do the scribble on both hands. That's key. That's one of the, I think, most important scratches that people do, at gigs, It's probably the number one scratch that people do. You know, I'm not talking about battle routines and all that stuff, but just like normal. Yeah. Boom. That's just normal. So you got to be able to do it on both hands. But I used to, when my left hand wasn't as strong, I would do all of my scratching on my right hand. You know, like if I'm scratching something out or whatever, I do it on my right hand. Now I'm getting to a point where my left hand is becoming my artistic, better hand. So, you know, that's where I'm doing, all my transforms and, you know, uh, I'm not trying to say all these names of scratches and stuff like that, but that's where I'm doing my more technical stuff is with my right hand on the crossfader and left hand on the record. So now I'm getting to that point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something on this side. So, you know, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. You know, I just want to be the best that I can be. I don't want to be better than you or better than somebody else. I want to be the best I can be. That's it. You know, I want to, leave no doubt when I'm DJing. You know, when I see people like, I mean, you know, when I was in DJX, you know, I saw Scratch Bastard, you know, obviously Craze was there, Buck Rogers was there, Melstar was there, and you know, you're watching some truly great DJs do their thing, and you're just in awe that somebody can get to a level like that. I mean, like I said before, when you see people like Craze and Qbert doing this, when scratches on the decks, that's the that's the biggest compliment you can ever get. You know? So I'm trying to get to that level. Will I ever get to that level? Who knows? Who knows? But that's not the point. The point is the journey. And as long as you're seeing growth, you're winning. That's just my opinion, though. Just my opinion.
So I knew there wasn't anything wrong with the S9 per se. So I guess I didn't think about it. I don't know. Maybe it was just me thinking about the set or me consuming all those shots. Or me consuming all those shots. Hold on one moment. Hey, future me, what are you doing?
I'm editing your videos. What else would I be doing?
No. I get that. Why are you using virtual DJ samples? Well, you said that you would never use the virtual DJ samples. So I put them in to show VDJ users that we care. See? I'm helping you out. You know you're probably going to piss them off again. No. We're cool. I'm on the forums. I got a username. I got a password and everything. I'm a part of the community. And when you're a part of the community, you can make jokes. You know, because we're all just having fun. That's what we do. It's what we do. And it's kind of like being black. Because you know when you're black, you can say, hey, come on, man. Trying to get me demonetized? Why are you being so stupid? Well, considering you from the past, if I'm stupid, I got it from you. Whatever. Yeah, whatever, back at you. Why don't you go say something smart on the camera, smart brother? Sorry about that. Let's get back to it.
Okay, let's see here. I know I've been talking, so I'm missing some questions. So I'm going to try to get to these questions, hopefully. I'm sorry. Okay, Larry Patterson. And now I'm going to fly through some questions, so I don't want to lose these questions. Larry Patterson says, it's better to use a sound mixer or hook controller straight to the speakers. Which one gives a better sound? Okay, easy question. The short answer is every modern controller, I would say the last, 5 to 7 years worth of controllers have been good enough for you to be able to plug them directly into a mixer. Okay. I would say anything since maybe like the DDJ 1000 and up, and I'm talking about Pioneer, but I'm more talking about the time period, have had really good sound cards. Now, the one thing that a mixer is used for, because like people are like, I like the EQ for my mixer. You can do that from literally the board. It's not like the mixer you're using is giving you a 10-band EQ. Nobody's doing that. Most of them are still 3-band EQs. But the difference is having control over the microphone, because while all controllers have pretty much good sound cards over a certain price point, to $800 or more, most of the cards are good. The difference is the mic preamps are questionable on some, or maybe they only have a tone, or the EQ just is trash or whatever. So that's when you'd bring a mixer in. I have a couple of controllers right now where I don't like the mic preamps. I don't like the way they sound. So I would have to go through a mixer. And for me, if I have to go through a mixer, I'm not using that controller, because I don't want the struggle of walking into a place going, I forgot my mixer. Damn, now my mics are going to sound like trash or whatever. So I prefer controllers that have good, solid microphones with at least a dual band EQ. I can work around a dual band EQ easily. So the answer is no, you don't need a mixer, but a mixer can help you. It can help you with the microphones. It can help you if you have different sound sources coming in. Some people like to have, I don't know, CD player, or something as a backup, or because you can plug your iPod still in the aux. You can plug a CD player in the aux. But if the good thing about a mixer is, if for whatever reason your hardware, not your computer, but your hardware goes down, you can still DJ. Because a lot of people are like, well, what do you do for a backup? Okay, well, I have my controller, and then if something goes wrong, I have my iPad or my iPhone, and I'll plug it into the aux, and we'll go from there. And I'm like, well, what happens if if your controller fails? And then people are just like, and I'm like, well, make sure you have at least a headphone jack to XLR out, so you can keep doing your thing, even if it is just from your iPad. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else here. I'll tell you what they were doing. So DJ Kenny, they were dancing. Thank you, DJ Kenny. Yeah, I couldn't see a thing in there. I literally, and that's probably one of the things I will say. We're talking about Moe's, and I can't see people dancing or having a good time. There are people at a couple of tables in front of me, so I could kind of see, and then I could see the wait staff, doing their thing. So I knew I was on the right field. But for places like that, you have to create your own vibe. So I know one of the struggles of other DJs that go in there, they could be, maybe they're mobile guys, and they go in and they play their mobile party on the gig. But on those, you don't have to play what everybody else is listening to. You don't have to play the Get Lows and, all the Pit Bulls. You don't have to. You can go in, you can start playing, you can play remixes, stuff that they had never heard. Look, they can hear what you're playing off of their Spotify playlist at any point in time. They don't need you for that. What they need you for is providing something different. They're bringing in a DJ to provide something that they can't get from a radio source. So be that guy. But when people come in and are like, I'm a mobile guy, and they just play their set, yeah, it's not going to come off well. It's not going to come off well. And it has nothing to do with you per se, as far as the way you're mixing them. It's just people have heard this. When I walked in, the stuff that they were playing, I'm just like, okay, this is just traditional Spotify radio stuff. So do your thing. Be you. Don't go too far off the reservation, but be you. Let's see here. DJ Crazy Legs in the building. What's going on? Patrick, I'm looking to finally upgrade my Harbinger PAs, and I want to hone in on the K12 18s with QSCs. I felt it's a safe bet. Like I said, I'm really happy with my QSCs. I got a couple of other speakers, manufacturers sending me product very shortly. DAS Audio, or DAS Audio, DAS. They're sending me some stuff, and the first thing that I did when they said, hey, we want to send you some stuff, I went straight to their website. Because what I don't want is a whole bunch of trash. If you're going to send me stuff, send me the good stuff. I want to make sure that it compares, with my QSCs, with my SRX system. Well, it should be at least that. So, I immediately went to all their subs, started looking at, max SPL and wattage and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know what QSC did. I have no idea. And I'm not even talking about the 3000 watts, because every time I say that, people are like, it's not about the watts, bro. It's about the SPL. And I'm like, okay, fine. You're right. However, typically watts correlate just nicely. My QSC speakers, my subs have an amazing SPL. So it's got to be better than that, or I don't really want them. Because keep in mind, when they send you speakers, they don't, you don't send them back. At least I don't. That's the one thing that I don't mess around with. Like, I'm not sending back, all of these things. You ever get a sub or a high from, you buy it from whatever, and it comes in the manufacturer's box. You ever take apart a speaker box? You ever try to get the speaker out? It's a nightmare. And they want you to put that back together? Hell no. First off, you have a shit ton of boxes. Okay. If they send me 2 highs and 2 subs, the boxes are humongous. They usually come on a I was gonna say a platter. You guys know what I'm saying. It just takes up a lot of space. So I can't wait to throw away all that crap. So I tell people, like, if you send me speakers, they're not going back. Just because I can't get them to you. I can't put them back in the boxes. I'm sorry. It's too hard, And maybe if they're smaller, like some 12s or whatever, you have more flexibility, but 18s, it's hard enough to get an 18 out of the box and usually I'm just ripping the crap out of that box, because you can't lift the speaker out, because the speaker's already heavy. And then now you got the box, and then you got the friction of the box. You have no grab points to get the speaker out. It's a nightmare. So what do? I rip the shit out of that box. And then I just have box remains everywhere. So yeah, I don't send speakers back. So because I don't send speakers back, they got to be good. Because even if I don't personally like them, well, that's the wrong term. Even if I personally think mine are better, whatever I'm using, that doesn't mean I'm not going to use them. I'm going to put them into the system. I'm going to put them in, and they're going to be one of the systems that goes out every weekend. It helps my bottom line, helps my business. So that's why I'm like, no, they got to be good, because I'm just going to take them and send them. And right now we have 4 systems, because look, every party, we range our parties from 100 people to, 400 people on a given average, right? So every system, 150 is like the average for a party, give or take. So every system needs to be able to power 125 to say 175, 185. Okay. Every system that we have. If we don't, it's pointless, because what I don't want to be thinking about is, oh, you need to take system 1 because you have this, and then the other DJ takes system 4. I want all my systems to be, they don't have to be the same manufacturer, but they have to have the same quality. Velocity Runner. Okay. CCMW says, do you do the same at weddings after playing what the client wants? Yeah, I don't really do, look, they send me a playlist, and I tell every client, this is a reference. This is not the end all. This is to establish your vibe for the night, but I'm going to play as a professional whatever I need to keep your party on the dance floor. Now, once I see your vibe, I'm going to tailor my music to your vibe. Like there's a couple of people that I've done, and like they're real heavy alternative people, so you got alternative playing during the cocktail. You got alternative playing while they're eating dinner. You have alternative sprinkled into all the other music you're playing, but you're not playing alternative all night, So you have a lot of options, because you got to play for everybody, not just your, bride and groom or your bar mitzvah client. You play for everybody, and that's what I tell people. I'm not just going to play. Now, if they're like, no, we want you to stay on our playlist, I'm like, okay, cool. And then I give my other my other DJ at that party. I don't do parties where they tie my hands behind my back. You know, that's the joy of being a multi-op owner, that I'm not doing those parties. You know, if you're a unnecessarily difficult client, like in my meetings, I'm just like, we aren't vibing right now. I don't like your vibe. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's gonna be a great party. Are you gonna be there? No, I'm already on a party. Yeah, but don't worry. I got a great DJ for you. It's gonna be a great time. Okay, let's see here. Were you recognized? Was I recognized? That's an interesting question. Because the people that I would be recognized by are other DJs. Regular people, they don't know who I am, you know. Don't get me wrong, like my socials are getting more and more people, you know, like my IG, which I'm on all the time. So once again, if you guys aren't following me on IG, get your asses on IG, because I post a lot of stuff on IG that I don't post on YouTube, like at all. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's a completely different vibe, but there's more comedy in it. There's more stuff that I love. You know, I'll post, you know, DJs that are killing it. I'll post dancers, because I used to be a dancer growing up. I'm gonna start dancing again, by the way. You know, these, you know, dope ass dance people, I'll put those on. I do a lot of comedy on my stuff. And also, I'd like to think a little self-help, you know, I throw all that stuff on there. So that's on my IG. And I've had like 3 or 4 videos go viral, and in doing so, open the door for a whole bunch of new people. So I have a lot of followers now that have no idea that you know, I'm who I am. They don't know about my YouTube side. They don't know anything about that, you know? So what I experience now over everything else, I get random looks that I have no idea why they're staring at me. That's what I get now. So I don't assume anything anymore. I don't make assumptions, you know, because a lot of times people are like, you look familiar. And like, I did the same thing to a dude. We were at a tap convention, and a random dude was sitting there watching the show. And then we were kind of next to each other, and we were just kind of talking. And I'm like, I feel like I know you. You look familiar to me. And he's like, oh, do I? Yeah, no, I do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the bands, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not that. And then it clicked. I'm like, oh my God, you're like a social media. You're like a reels, like comedy guy. That's how I knew him, you know? And so you never know how people know you. So I don't make assumptions anymore. You know, I honestly don't. Sean's here in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. All right, let's see here. I know there was a question. What's the best way to tag music if you are a new DJ and you don't have the experience on what definitely works and what doesn't? By energy, genre, decade. I've watched your videos on this topic. I don't do energy. I don't know why. It just doesn't work for me. I do genre. I have decade folders, but I don't really stand my decade folders, because that's really when you get specific. Like you walk into a place and you're like, we only want this. And you're like, okay, cool. I'll go into my 90s folder. You know, I have mine based on vibe versus on like whatever it is. So like if I'm doing a club, yeah, I have like a Latin folder, and I have, you know, an Afrobeats folder and all that stuff. But like that's on the side. And then I have just open format folder. And that open format folder is pretty much where I stay, you know? And every so often when I'm playing, I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to go here. Then I'll go into that folder, or I'll go into my routine folder, you know? So, yeah, I am not the one to ask about it. I don't do energy. You know, I know people do energy, and I don't know. It doesn't translate for me. You know, you got to do what would make sense for your brain. And so I never tell people, do this. This will work, because I don't know. Like I've tried the energy thing. I don't know. The only thing I would do, which I'm starting to do more of, is and even then, it's relative, you know. But if something is a banger, like I'm like, this is a banger, I'll tag it. I'll tag it red. Because I know people that tag for clean, they tag for energy, they tag. It's just too much work. You know, maybe if I didn't have so many jobs, it wouldn't be a big deal. but that's a big deal. That's time. You know, there's several. There's Lexicon. There's Mixmaster GNL's suite of apps. They all do a good job, and all of those things can help you. So I would say if you need help like that, try it out. You know, see what happens. Like the biggest thing I did was flatten out my whole thing. I flattened out my whole entire music thing. Everything's in one folder. I don't even do a 2023 folder in the folders. Everything's in the same folder. And I established my crates from within Serato. And then from Serato, it breaks out to every single other DJ software that I use, whether it be Rekordbox or, Engine Prime, Virtual DJ. It all starts from Serato. Okay. Hello, Coil J. How do you deal with questionable lyrics in hit songs? Well, I mean, you got to use your judgment. If everybody's different, okay? Every party's different, which is why your judgment comes into play. So sometimes, I'll have a party and I'll be playing stuff and I'm like, I can play anything I want. As long as it's clean, I can play anything I want. And I have other parties where it's like, even if it's clean, I can't play certain songs because I know it's going to offend people. You have to use your judgment. There are songs that I have right now. Oh, perfect example. Like Drop It Like It's Hot. Okay. Drop It Like It's Hot. Where Pharrell says, it's wider than what's going down your throat. Now, technically, there's nothing dirty in that. There's no profanity, but I'm not playing that to a bunch of 13-year-olds. So I'll either, stutter that part out, censor that part out. Another one is Timber by Kesha. Pitbull's First Thing is talking about, your panties down and, face down, booty up. Like there's nothing wrong with that. No profanity, but that's nasty. And I edit that out, still little things like that. So you got to use your judgment, DMX, like Party Up. Party Up has a lot of random sounds in it, covering up the censors. For the longest time, I couldn't play it. And we even have a cleaner version of Party Up. So, when a song is questionable or we still want to play it, we will go back in and re-edit it. I have a super clean version of Baby Got Back. I got a super clean version of Party Up. And it just, get rid of even the questionable things. So use your judgment. Okay. All right, let me drop down here. Do I have surveillance cameras? Can you talk about installation features? What the hell does that mean, DVD Puck? Surveillance cameras? What am I? A police officer? Am I installing my ring around the party? Explain yourself. Because I don't understand that. Okay. I'm just skipping over all of Pablo's stuff. Feta says, I export a CSV. What's going on, Feta, by the way? And do a post-gig analysis. Yeah, exactly. Either take a look at your history. Yeah, export your text file. Take a look at that. I record my sets. And I'll play them back and go, okay, I could have done that better. Okay. Because keep in mind, the one thing I will say, if you're clean on your transitions, okay, just clean, period. Not being flashy, but if you're clean, even if like you get out a little early, or you put on your effect and maybe comes in too loud, or your echo goes too long, like all of those things, they don't matter as much because you're clean, right? People will let it go. You're in a nightclub, okay? You're on a dance floor, not you, but the people are on a dance floor. It's loud. They're screaming. They're drinking. They don't hear a lot of those mistakes, like at all, So I don't really worry about that. But but it's one of those things, and this is the thing that drives me nuts. Because this is why I don't listen to Twitch people or YouTube people, like let's say you put a mix up, whatever, and people are like, oh, you did this. I would have done this, blah, blah, blah. First off, you're not working. I am. Second off, yeah, it's real easy to sit here and be an armchair quarterback, when you're literally micro analyzing everything I just did in the live recording. But guess what? It's a live recording. Live recordings are going to have mistakes. They're live, you know. Scratch Bastard, as amazing as he is, makes mistakes. The difference is his mistakes are so minor that nobody besides like the best of the best hear that stuff, right? Like I don't hear half the stuff that he makes mistakes on, but I know some people are like, oh yeah, he messed up here, messed up here. I'm just like, I didn't hear it. That's the mark of a great anything. So, which is why I don't typically post my lives, because I don't want to deal with idiots. Because you're constantly making mistakes. You're constantly, doing things where you're like, oh man, I hit the stop button on the reloop. I only did it once this Saturday. The reloops have 2 start and stop buttons, one on each side. So I guess if you were, putting them in battle mode or in regular mode, you still have a stop in the same spot. That's annoying as hell to me. Annoying as hell. So I hit that button because sometimes I like to rest my hand on the turntable in the corner. And I'll hit that button, stop. Only did it one time, So and it wasn't even on a song that I was playing. So I was very happy about that. I had a mistake where their wireless mic wasn't working. So I plugged my corded mic, and I always keep a corded mic in your bag. No matter what, just keep a SM58 just chilling in your bag with an XLR to 1/4 inch cord just sitting in your bag. Don't ever take it out. Just leave it in there. Because when I tell you, trust me, you will always need it. You will always need it. So the wireless wasn't working. So I had to plug in my 1/4 inch. It's probably, I don't know, maybe a 3-foot cord. It's not super long. So as I was talking to the crowd at one point, and I had to bring the microphone over the S9. I'm talking to the crowd, and I'm talking, the cord hit one of my cue buttons and put the song back to the beginning. Now, it's annoying, yes, but it's live. So it happens. And when that happens, I'm just like, oh, let's do that again. And I just went back to close enough to where I was. It's live, but you post that online and you'll get murdered by it. Like every damn mix needs to be perfect. I don't want perfect mixes, but if I'm doing one where it's just it's a pre-recording, like I've done stuff for like globalization, those mixes are perfect. I'll take them in, I'll record them straight. Then I'll go back, I'll record my cuts. I'll go in. If there's something that seems a little off, I can clean that up. I can shrink that song down or whatever. I'll bring it into Ableton, fix everything. That's different. That is now a production piece. And production pieces are different than live pieces. Nobody expects you to DJ live like how your mixtape sounds. Your mixtape, unless you say it's a live, should be perfect because you have every opportunity to make it perfect. But live, everything can go wrong. People talking to you, drunk people in your ear, you miss the part where you're supposed to transition out. Like all of these things happen. All of these things happen. So I don't worry about that kind of stuff. Okay. How do you record your mixes when you stream from BeatSource? You need an external player, or you need to pipe your sound end from like Serato to Ableton. So how do you do that? You make the audio available. There's a little option in Serato to make your audio available to other applications while you're running them. And then you go into you go into Ableton, and then you set the channels. You set the channels of the output channel. And I think they're usually like 11 or 12 or something like that. And then you can just record it straight. Or you get yourself like a little Zoom recorder or something like that, plug it into your RCAs, and then, record it from there. Easiest ways. Okay. All right. Trying to get ambidextrous, says Jay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I don't ever want to have to like look. There's certain scratches that yes, they're probably going to come more naturally on one side. I get that part, but even so, like I like my transform with my right hand is great. Left hand is like horrible. So I'm working on that too. You know, because when I watched Melstar, uh, his hands are I think perfect on both sides. Perfect. uh what is no X fader? What if no crossfader? Then you play the long faders. Doesn't change anything. You can still do it. You set your long faders to sharp, and you can look. A lot of people, including myself, we DJ'd. Look, nobody's shortcut here. Shortcut is the up fade master. But like when I was coming up, you would use they had literally like a transform switch. A lot of the like the was that the Newmark? Was that the PMC? Um, they had a little well, I was gonna say transformer switch, and I learned off the transformer switch. So I was always going up and down. It took a long time. I didn't start literally learning how to work crossfader because I was DJing and then I stopped and then I came back in. So yeah, I didn't start hitting the crossfader until probably, I don't know, 20 years, 15 years or so, and this is from an off and on DJ because, I wasn't DJing. Like, people ask me, how long you been DJing for? And I'm like, I started DJing when I was 13. But the reality is, I DJ'd, up until say, I don't know, 16, 17. I was a dancer too. So then I had stopped DJing. And then I hadn't really been DJing. I was producing. So I was producing music, not DJing. So then I hadn't been DJing at that point. And then had a hip hop band, all that stuff. We had a DJ in the group. And I was like, oh, let me just start to mess around a little bit more. Then I worked for a multi-op doing barn bat mitzvahs. And I was an MC for them. So I wasn't DJing. And they were using trash. It was all just like the Denon dual platter, all-in-ones, basically, the old school ones, where you put the CD in and, you had the Q button, and then it wasn't conducive to DJing. So I didn't care about that. And I didn't start getting back into DJing again until Scratch Live came in. And in reality, until I really started my company. So that would have been in my 30s when we started this company. So at that point, I started to do more, vinyl and scratch work, but never to the level that I'm at now. Not to that level. Like I'm a better scratcher now than I ever was before. All just because I've just put more time to it, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Nowhere near. Absolutely nowhere near. But I'm getting there. The most important part of what I feel as I'm scratching, because this is the thing that I think people ignore. There's a lot of people that can scratch, right? And they do their movements, and their movements are scratches, and they sound good, but they don't actually know how they're doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's just a movement that you do, and it just comes naturally to you, and that's the scratch you do. But if you tell them, but if they had to like, I don't know, change the music up or change the style up, and now they're DJing to like a swing beat or whatever, like they couldn't actually change it up because that's just the movement that they do. And that's how I was. There's some scratches that I was just naturally good at, but no design, just kind of just throwing them out there. And I'm just now getting to a point where the scratch or the thing that's in my mind is translating onto the crossfader. Where I'm like, I want to do this as I'm doing this, and it actually does what it's supposed to do. My brain and my hands are all talking to one another, or I guess more importantly, they're talking independently of one another. So it just takes a minute. Takes a minute. Okay. Mill Skill says using a mixer extra gives you more volume with the preamps. Not really. Not really. It's just it's all I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's all gain structure. And you can only go up to a certain gain level before everything sounds like trash. So not really the case. Now the difference is I know what you're saying because like on a controller or something, yeah, maybe you don't have as much gain. You know, it's changing now. A lot of these controllers have much better gain coming out of them. So I get what you're saying, but your speakers are still only capable of accepting a certain amount of decibels before the limiters kick in. You know, but I completely but I understand what you're saying. Okay. All right. Let me try to drop down here. All right. Just purchased the ICOA 18s and all I can say is they're worth the price. Yeah, that's the one thing that I really am annoyed with. I would personally not use the ICOAs just because they're too big. They're just big speakers. But they sound great. And they were going to send them to me and I'm like, "No, I don't want them. I should have taken them just because." Just because. Okay. Okay. When is baseball sending you some gear to review? So, first off, probably never. They are first off, they're owned by AMS. That's the same company that owns Reloop and what's the other company? The ones that make the T7. I forget what they're called. Anyway, I can't think of it right now. But they're the same company that owns them. I don't know as far as the bureaucracy of what it is they do. Because even when they used to be in LA and we were trying to arrange something, but even then they were like, "Yeah, we'll set up a temporary thing, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "No, I'm not sending them back." And they're like, "Well, we kind of need them back." I'm like, "Well, then I kind of don't want them." You know, I'm not going out of my way to promote your stuff and not getting anything out of it. Because that's ultimately what you're saying. You want me to promote your stuff. I'm not doing that. So I don't know. We'll have to see. If I know they just moved to Texas, I believe. So if it has to do kind of a AMS thing, I doubt I'm never going to get it. And I know they're not going to let me keep it. They're sending me invoices right now for the Mixon, which I got to do the review for. But I'm getting invoices for them. And I'm like, I'm not paying for this. It's going back, you know, but when I tell you they're like 30 days and it needs to come back, they're serious about that. I'm getting invoices right now. And, yeah, as much as, you know, it's a solid controller. I don't want it. I will never use it. So it's going back as I'm looking literally on my floor right now. There's a Prime 4 Plus. There's a Rain 4. There is a Flex 10. There is an Opus Quad. And then I got my turntable set up with my S11 and my PLXs. Like, this is all in my room. I can pick whatever I want. I don't need the Mixon 8. And I'm sending stuff back. Stuff's going back. I'm actually going to send the Rain 4 back. I'm going to hold on to the Flex 10. I'm keeping the Denon Prime 4 until probably forever because engine updates so much. I have to have one. I have to have one in house. There's just no way I can get around that. Yeah, and that doesn't even include the literally I can kick in the wind and hit something. You know the Rev 1 and there's a Flex 4 in the other room. I just got a lot of stuff. Oh, and then all the new marks. I got all the new marks sitting in another room too. I got a lot of stuff. Just Denon Prime Go on the floor, the Denon, the new mark Go. I got that one. I just got a lot of stuff. I have to send stuff back. I cannot get myself to send the Opus Quad back. I don't know why. I love the vibe of it. I just love the vibe of it. Don't ask me why. I don't know, when it's just it's literally a furniture piece. Like, even if I don't use it, just chilling there. It just makes me feel kind of warm inside. I don't know why. I had to move it because I'm like, you guys probably know I got new records. I had to move it because I needed to bring the S11 up. I needed to practice on it. I've been practicing on the Rev 7. And as good as that is, it's obviously going to be different than using actual 12-inch records. I've been practicing on the Stanton STXs. That's been great too. But again, it's a different level of control with your hand on the record on a 45 than it is on a direct drive, 12-inch record. It's just different. So I put that back up there so I could practice more. But I got to find another spot for that Opus Quad. I'm not sending the quad back. I love the way it looks. I just love the way it looks. Okay. DJ Cold Cut, you ever catch heat for playing clean versions? Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, that is probably a number one issue with clients. When a client will tell me, hey, you know what? You can play dirty versions. It doesn't matter to me. And we say, we only play clean versions. No, but I'm cool with it. I don't care if you're cool with it. All of your friends who happen to be potential clients are not cool with it. And even if some are, if 3 of them aren't, and then those 3 tell everybody they know that, oh, Check 1 2 is the company that plays dirty records, it's going to screw me. So I don't do it. We don't play. Now, I do play dirty versions on certain things. If I'm playing, let's say, a wedding, and it's late nights after all the grandparents and kids have gone home, and I drop a couple of tracks that have some bad words in it, I'm okay. I'm still not playing super dirty. But anytime I do a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, or college party or whatever, anytime, I got to play all dirty. If you play clean versions, they will clown you. So, yeah, I play dirty versions there. That's the only place. Or nightclubs, obviously. Okay. Well, maybe I can. Don Rafa. I got some legit ask questions here. All right. Brad, wish we would have had surveillance cameras back in the 90s. Okay. We're jumping that. Ruben in the building. What's going on, fam? How should we handle clients who don't fill important parts of forms from their wedding? You can only do so much. If they don't want to answer them, then that's their party. Like I've had clients where I'm like, hey, can you please fill out your music questionnaire? And they're like, sure. And then they don't do it, and they don't do it, and they don't do it. And finally at the end, I'm like, you didn't give it to me. So you basically said, do what you do. That's it. Do what you do. So I'm fine with that, but yeah, we'll keep sending them. We have an automated thing that just keeps going out like, hey, we need your questionnaire. So we do it 2 different ways now. One way, on the initial questionnaire, if they don't answer it, it literally says, we require this in order to staff your event. And that alone, they're like, uh-oh, I better answer this thing. The music one, most people answer. DJ Kova in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you, man. Most people will fill that out. Sometimes they don't. It is what it is. If they don't, then I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing it my way. Because sometimes a client will say, well, we've seen you guys. We know how good you are. We know what you play. Just do what you normally do and our party will be a success. Cool. Whatever. That's fine. But yeah, certain things need to be filled out. I've had people legitimately, because they'll book us, a client will book us, 2 years in advance and not know where their venue is going to be. Like I just know it's in the greater Los Angeles area. And, we'll start sending them stuff out, about 3 months before their party, like, hey, verify your location. And if we don't have one and they keep ignoring it, we'll send it saying, do you want us to show up? because we can't right now. We have no idea where your party is. You know, it's okay to be flat out with that. It's okay. All right. DJ Lopes in the building. What's going on, fam? Streaming music is if there are two computers for Serato, the others can record. Okay, that's we already talked about that. Zoo says the Detroit market wants to hear what they hear on the radio. It's so annoying because I like to rock the latest remixes. Okay, I'll answer that one for you, at least in my opinion. Okay, yes, it's true. When you're playing, you know, especially private events, you know, even in some clubs, they want to hear the radio versions. This is true, but you can play remixes. The problem that I see is that the remixes that people are choosing to play are so far from the original concept of the song that people don't want to hear that. That's usually why they don't want to hear the remix, you know. But if you have a remix where the bass line remains the same, but maybe the beat's a little harder, or maybe there's a little bit of a breakdown or whatever, you know, that's gonna save you. But it's got to retain the soul of the music. If it doesn't retain the soul, most people aren't going to want to hear it unless you're, you know, 22 years old and, you know, and you're on your 17th truly. Did not get the QLX, did not get that new mic yet. Nope, not yet. DJ Justin, if you answer my question, blah, 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 are you still using the Jetpack Glide Bag every single day and long term? It's been perfect. I use it every weekend. I have put many different controllers in there. But typically my Rev 7 up until I got my Danny Max booth, where I think my Rev 7 is going to end up in there. I think I'm going to end up buying another Rev 7, to be honest with you. Yeah, I use it every weekend. It's still perfect. Haven't had a single problem with it. Okay. We know Kova likes clipping. So I went to DJ Kova's, DJ X. He had a presentation about Ableton, and I don't think he can go 30 minutes without talking about stop clipping. You see this? See this right here? See this? This is red. That's clipping. Go see this? It's clipping. Like, come on, you dumbass. That's clipping. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then the guy would come up and say, "Hey, but what if I like the sound of clipping?" Hey! None of that. None of that. Sit your ass down. I swear that was his show. That was a presentation. I was like, damn, man, you are just mean. Is there a way to get audio out of Zoom? When I said Zoom, I'm talking about the actual hardware, the Zoom hardware, not Zoom, the video stuff. Justin, the DJ in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. I slide that Opus Quad over here. I just love it. Pablo says, what's your take on portability of Rev 5 versus Rev 7? Well, I will answer that in about a month. I have another Rev 5 coming to me. As I said before, I had to send it back like immediately because DJX was right around the corner and they needed all their product back. But there is a Rev 5 being sent to me, hopefully by next week. And then I will use that for about a month. I will say, you know, it's strange because it's portable. It's not much smaller than the Rev 7. It's lighter. So that's key, especially if you're dealing with situations where, you know, you got to travel with those bags. Like I have a gig in Arizona, actually the same one in Arizona that I had a couple years back where my flight was delayed and I got to my party late. So I will probably take the Rev 5 with me just because it's a little smaller, it's lighter, it's easier to travel with, and it still has most of the things that I need. So yeah, I do like the Rev 5, you know, and I know a lot. I love the Rev 7, but it's you can like two different things at the same time. I do like the Rev 5. The Rev 5's fun. It's just a fun controller, you know, all the things that it does. And I think it does open up a lot of creativity that is currently, and I use the term currently because I have a feeling that stuff's going to show up on the Rev 7, you know, at some point. But it has a lot of stuff on there that, you know, other things don't have. Okay. DAP One World says Pioneer Cross 12. Yes, that is a product. I have a review on it, so you can check my review on it. DJ Lab in the building. What's going on? I'm out of YouTube jail. Just got the Prime 4 sent to me with public beta stems. Better than I thought. You know, it's so a lot of things that are reviewed, that are shown on camera, a lot of things don't do. You can't show it in the way that you're experiencing it. And I try to do that with like my voice and my inflections and things like that. But in general, the Opus Quad was a perfect example. You know, I'm like, I don't know, this thing is just, it's just fun. It's just good to look at. It's a beautiful board. And people are like, nah, man, I think it's ugly. I think it's this. I think it's that. And then they went to NAMM and it was there. Every person that said, I didn't like it, they were like, you're right. You're right. Something about it just feels good. I mean, besides Mojax, he's the only one that hates it. He hates the design. But besides that, everybody else loves it. So, yeah, anyway. Okay. Got a 21 plus Barbie glow party at a dive bar. There might be a couple of dirty versions. Yeah, you're at a dive bar. Do your thing. Don't worry about them. I have been playing clean only for 7 years now, depending on bookings. Exactly. Clean dirty must be a Cali thing. It's not an issue. And yeah, we know you guys walk around naked and you do drugs and you play dirty versions. We know, Netherlands. We know you European countries are so advanced. So advanced. Okay. Teddy in the building. What's going on, fam? Yeah, exactly. Mac Joseph says it's not your fault if you play a song they don't like. They didn't specify. Exactly. And look, I tell people it's more important to tell me the songs you don't like versus the songs you do like, because it's my job to kind of know the songs you like. But if you tell me all of a sudden that you don't like, you know, I don't know, Pitbull, which does happen on occasion. By the way, which is probably the hardest artist to work around. When you're like, no Pitbull, you're like, Pitbull is on everything. Like I can't even play like the parts without Pitbull on there. Like he's got a lot of music, but you know, but people will say that. And then I'll work around it. You know, the ones I get, the number ones I get, especially being a bar mitzvah DJ, are if they are white people, like white Jews, I'll get no Kanye. I haven't gotten it in a long time, but I was getting no Michael Jackson. And I say this because that only applies to white Jews. If they are ethnic Jews, like Persian Jews, Israelis, you know, that kind of stuff, they want to hear Michael Jackson. So it just depends on the group, you know, and you just have to know your groups. That's all. Okay. Why do you prefer the Rev 7 other than the moving platters? Because it's wonderful, Pablo. I prefer the Rev 7 because yes, the moving platters are one piece. Having Serato stems right on those upper buttons makes my job easier. It makes the accessibility better. The S7 mixer in the middle is exceptionally important because it feels like I'm DJing off of close to my S11. And which is why the Rev 5 is close, because it's got most of those things on there now. So besides the moving platter. So that's why I'm saying the Rev 5 is a good option, especially for people who don't want moving platters. Okay. Opus needs stems, or Prime 4 needs hitting the wrong button. Or Prime 4 needs standalone at the same time while using Serato. Yeah, good luck with that, Mac. That Prime 4 switching over to Serato. I'll come back tomorrow and be ready to DJ on that Prime 4. Okay. I'm set to buy Rev 7 until they threw the Rev 5 curve. Yeah. No, I understand. I do understand. Obviously, the standalone effects are important to a lot of people. They're important to me too. But I just find that I don't really have that issue with the Rev 5. I don't know why, but for some reason, the Rev 5 just seems to handle it better. Don't ask me why. I don't have an answer because it doesn't make sense. Because I'm still using the same Serato effects. I'm still using the same Serato echo, but it just seems to flow better on the Rev 5. I don't know why. But I know for a lot of people that is a big deal. It's not a big deal to me though. Max SPL. Looking forward to that video. So Pablo, you know I have a Rev 5 video that is out though. But yeah, I want to do like a 1 month video with it. I can't stand when I get a piece of gear and they're like, you know, it's got to come back, or you know, you can't bring it out in public. I'm like, I have to. It's the only way to really understand this piece of gear is when I'm live and I'm like, hey, oh, I need to be able to do this. Oh, it doesn't do that. Or why does it do this when I'm at this level or whatever? So I need to be able to take it out. So once I get it, yeah, I will use that exclusively for about a month, and then I'll give another review. Yeah. Max XBL says, I swear some of this mixer controller speaker sounds like ass comments come from people clipping their gear and playing, you know, 128K KBS files. Like you're wondering why it's trash. You're still playing those old ass, LimeWire rips. So it doesn't matter. You know, a lot of people don't realize that. You know, you're not playing WAV files on what is that major system called? Was that the Control 1 or something? It's like something like that. Something with a 1 in it. Okay. All right. Oh no, where'd you go? All right, here we go. Pablo, would you be able to map the functions of the Rev 5 to the Rev 7 buttons? Are you asking if you can do it manually? No, like you wouldn't be able to do dual deck without Pioneer DJ stepping in. So cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. I know that having parity on a lot of their products has been very important to them. So just keep your fingers crossed. Because if they put dual deck on a Rev 7, the world's gonna open up. That's all I'm saying. If they put dual deck on, the world's gonna open up. Yeah, and if they put Stem EQ on there, look, if dual deck move, if they find a way to firmware it up on the Rev 7, it will be one of the best controllers out ever. It really will be, you know, and okay. How are you feeling this week? Feeling pretty good, Kalo. How are you feeling? This is a good question. DJ Lab, do you think you'll make use of the auto BPM transition? That is probably the one thing I probably won't really find myself using. Now, and the only reason why is because I use it right now anyway. You know, I have a couple of BPM transition tracks. You know, I have it turned down for what one? I have a Badinga one that goes from 130 to 100, and they work for me. I don't go too big when going up and down when I'm DJing. Like I start at a certain level. I mean, I could take. So let's say I'm at 100 when I start. Or I'm at 128. Yeah, I might transition down to 100, but then I'll go from 100 and I will take 100 all the way up to 130, 135, just with mixes. 100. Now I'm at 103. Now I'm at 105. Now I'm at 108. Now I'm at 110. Maybe I do a quick needle drop type record. Bam. Now I'm at like 113. Now I'm at 118. Now I'm at 120, 125. Now I have full flexibility. I'm up to 130. And then, I might go to 135. And then if I go to 140, now I stay at 140, drop down to the 65, 70 ratchet music, go there for a little while. And then from 65 to 70, I will go up from there, 70, 75 to 80 to 85 to 90. Now I'm back to 100. Something like that. It's a big circle, big circle. Um. All right. DJ Leo, what up from Jersey? But Rev 7 needs one important thing to make it actually good, and that is record box compatibility. So I don't disagree with you. I know there's a lot of record box people that love it, and I think if they did a firmware update and added record box, I think they'd get a whole new sales for the year. So I think that's popular. Yeah, you can't come in with a record box only Rev 7. You can't do it. You can't do it. Opus Quad is Atari 2600. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Old school hip hop always used dirty versions, but anything newer than 2010, I'm spinning clean. What does that mean, DJ Farns? What does it matter if they're old school? They make clean versions of old school music. You know, if that's your reasoning by it, you know, I mean, BPM Supreme has a ton of old school clean versions of music. Beat Source streaming has a ton of clean versions, so it doesn't have to be that way. And you know, there's tracks that I make clean versions for. You know, like for instance, Hypnotize. I have a Serato flip version that I made just for the first verse. That's how lazy. So I happened to be at a wedding, and then I had like time on my hands. And normally I would censor out the stuff. I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just make some flips for this? So I made clean versions of flips. And, but I only did the first verse because I really only play whatever part of the song I'm playing. It's only that part. So I have clean versions for that part. Paulus T says, no R. Kelly, please. Thanks. Well, first off, I will say this. That's you. Okay. You don't have to play R. Kelly. I don't personally play R. Kelly because of a choice. It's a choice. It's my own personal choice. But I'm never going to tell anybody that they can't play R. Kelly because of who he is. That's your choice. Do whatever the hell you want to do. But I don't personally play R. Kelly. I don't personally play Kanye right now. And I didn't play a single Kanye track in the club. Could I have? Absolutely. But I don't play Kanye. You know, we have differences of opinion. So I don't play it. You know, in my religion, I have that ability. I have that prerogative to just not play what I don't want to play. There's enough music out there that I can skip one dude and play something else. You know, but you know, your mileage may vary. You know, if you want to play it on yours, cool. I know that there's a lot of places, you know, out in the world where, you know, none of this stuff is a big deal. I know tons of places where they still play R. Kelly all the time. It is what it is. You know, I can only make my own personal choice. That's it. That's it. And the same thing applies to you. Okay. Oh, Kenny, thank you. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. White juice. I have no Drake, no Cardi B, no Kanye. Of course, I don't tell the client says. Now I'm curious, what's the deal with Drake and Cardi B? What did Drake do? I'm curious. Kayla says it's interesting to hear other DJs mental gymnastics on artists that I don't think that we should play. Yeah, I get it. I mean, look, again, I don't play Kanye for personal reasons. I don't play Kanye because my group of people that I'm typically DJing for are Jews, and Jews don't want to hear Kanye. So I'm not going to play Kanye. You know, then we have people that don't want to hear R. Kelly. I don't play R. Kelly. I don't personally play R. Kelly because, you know, people are like, you need to separate the artist from the person. Like, no, you can't. That's a dirty ass man, and I don't need to play music, especially when you start listening to the words and realizing he's singing about every underage girl in the world right now. And I got young daughters. So fuck that man. I don't need to play R. Kelly. I do have a remix of an R. Kelly song. It's a bump and grind from this one dude, and he takes it and just rips it. It's amazing. So if I do play it, it's almost like a shock value because it goes into the house thing, and then it's a whole different thing. I can't play it right now. I'll be demonetized, obviously. Possible future Flex 8 replacing the DDJ 800. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, it's hard to say. It is hard to say. Um, I mean, we got the Flex 10. We got the Rev 5. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, if anything, all they really need to do is beef up that Flex 6, put it into the league that it needs to be in, and then I think we'd be in a good situation. But I think the Flex 6 is so compromised that it can't replace the DDJ 800. That was a really really good board. Really good board. Okay, I don't care what ours does. Cardi B and Drake, my soul with their awful flow. I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, everybody hears it differently. I don't have a problem with Drake's flow. I have a problem with Drake's flow on Who Told You. He's trash on that one. But besides that, he's a good rapper. And Cardi B, you might not like her accent and the way she raps, because she's very, I don't know how to explain it. But okay, to each their own. If VDJ fixed or had better effects, VDJ would be the ultimate software, in my opinion. That's fine, Kalo. That's fine. You know, again, as I've said before, there's more to software than just cool features. You know, people use software not just because of features, but because of the way it makes them feel, the way it looks, the flow of your workflow on how you do things, and I think Virtual DJ is an amazing product that I won't personally use. You know, like it doesn't work for me, but I understand what you're saying. Okay. I have watched the Rev 5 video like 6 times. All right. All right. Let's see here. Don't go away. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little behind here. Ashley said, just got a Rev 7, was wondering which stems you have on the top. So on the top of mine, well, I actually have them both. So if you're looking at the Rev 7 and you got your the four ones up top, which I believe is Q, is the Q points. I have the standard mutes. And then the scratch bank button I've programmed on that side, basically, like, you know, going to the next page. That's all of my effects, which I don't. Stop texting, people. They're driving me nuts. Do not disturb. And then I have my stem effects on the second page. To be honest with you, I don't really use the stem effects like at all. Anyway. Okay. All right. Okay, now we go. DJs who rely on effects are usually subpar. All I need is my laptop, my Rain 1, and my Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, maybe. DJ Titanic. I mean, you know, I think effects serve a purpose. But yes, you should be able to DJ without using the effects. DJ Synergy says, I play clean music all the time. I even get roasted for it like I'm a Christian. I mean, yeah, there's a point. I mean, you're always safer to just, when in doubt, play the clean version. Have a contract. Okay. Dual deck would be a game changer. Always have a contract. Okay. We're talking about something else. Do you think Tractor will ever come back? Ask Mixmaster GNL. He's the Tractor lover. I don't think so, but look, it's anybody's game. All they need to do is come out with something really, really good to change people's perception, and people will try. Rev 7 will be 3,000. No, it won't. It'll be the exact same price. Even if they do a firmware update, or if they come out with the Pioneer, it'll still be the same price. Can you take audio from your mixer and put it onto Zoom? Yes. every audio card, should have a setting in your Zoom, which allows you to select where you're getting your audio from. And then that's where you put it in, and then put your mic into your mixer and then use that as your audio card. I'm about to sell my 1200s because the Rev 7 is so spot on. No need for phase DD on the turntables anymore. So, yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, look, I love the Rev 7. I do. But there is a difference between using full size platters and using the Rev 7. There is a difference. And I find that, I'll go on and go, oh yeah, my hands work better on this, or if I'm doing juggles, oh, it's easier on the Rev 7, obviously. But I don't know that I would sell my stuff, because obviously, if you're doing a mobile gig and that's all you do and you don't do any clubs or anything like that, then sure, you don't really need it. But because I do clubs too, I need to keep hold of my other system. Okay. Do you think Roland will get back to the controller game? I don't think so. I don't think so. What's your favorite BPM when DJing a personal set? I don't have a personal. I DJ all the way, literally any BPM. And the reason why I say that is because every genre has a different, musical soul. Like if you're doing 90s music, yeah, you're probably sticking around 100, around 90 to like 105. If you're playing like 80s, a lot of that stuff you're playing is like, 70s into 80 beats per minute, because really it's like they're like a 160. If you're playing house, you're staying around 125 to 135. If you're playing Jersey, you're sticking around 65, 70. If you're playing trap music, you're staying around 70 to 80. So, and if you're an open format DJ, you're playing it all. So you should be able to play everything. Just an opinion though. Man, free R. Kelly. No, R. Kelly doesn't need to be freed. That man is dirty. That man needs to be put underneath the prison. I'm DJ named Funktavious, a DJ. And all who disagrees with the DJ's music opinions are always wrong. Well, that's not true, because I will say this. There are trash DJs out there. Okay. And sometimes trash DJs think they're better than they really are, and they really are playing the wrong music. So I don't assume just because there's a DJ in front of somebody's name that means they know how to DJ or they know what music should be played. And that same DJ who's amazing at private events is likely, especially if they don't do it a lot, it's likely going to be trash on club events. Okay. That's just facts, Now, I'm not saying that either one can't do it, because I know club DJs that are trash on private events, because it's just a different mindset. It's a different vibe. So it takes time to do both, and you got to be doing both in order to make sure that you're doing a good job. What's the difference between 125 and 128? Nothing. But 128 seems to be the sweet spot for a lot of pop stuff. If you're doing like groove house, that tends to sit at like, 120 with an upper of 125. If you're playing tech house, you're probably sitting at like 130 to 135. So it just depends. There is a vibe to it. If you're playing any type of like Afrocentric stuff, that typically since if you are playing fast Afro, you're typically sitting at like 120. That's like the perfect tempo. Okay. If the bride requests it, the answer is always yes. Okay. All right. DJ Lopes, do you intend traveling overseas one day, and don't one day when someone pays you? Okay. It's still DJ related. Bottom line here is I will go anywhere that a person will pay me for my rate and my travel expenses. If you want to book me, I'm there. Any place, anywhere in the world, because that's an experience you can't get back. You can't get back. If somebody's like, hey, we want you to do something, do it. I would even do for a week. I would even do a cruise liner. I would only go a week. That's as far as I can go, just because I got family and stuff. Like I couldn't sign a contract for, a month or 2 months. That's too much. But if they're like, hey, come on, and we want to do a guest DJ spot, because there's a couple of people that have talked to me about it. We just haven't gotten into any of the details. I'll go for a week. I'll go for a week. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm going to answer all these questions because it is 12:10, because I do have to, do stuff like eat and everything. R. Kelly been getting away with shit for too long. Absolutely. Okay. Let's see here. Love the DJ 800. Biggest regret, it was so small and easy to travel with. Yep, exactly. Sexy Red. Hey man, Sexy Red is fire right now. That track is number one. There's a lot of difference between Cardi B and Doja Cat. A lot of different. First off, Doja Cat can actually sing. Cardi B cannot sing. But there's huge differences between the two. Do a MJ, Kanye, Kelly hour mix. Let the comments build your traffic. Okay. If you buy a Rev 7, would it be easier to transition to turntables if you owned a pair? Absolutely. Woman is on a heavy rotation. Okay. Timothy Cook in the building. Question: does your company own a banquet hall? No. We are going to get one for the company. What do you think of the investment? I think you better make sure that you can make that money back. That's what I think. We are going to get a spot, but you have to. I mean, look, I don't know where you are, so I can't speak for everything. But financially speaking, a banquet hall out here, or even just a hall, an open hall where people can rent, you're paying, upwards of $20K a month. So you better make sure that you can cover that. That's the key, because keep in mind, when you open that banquet hall up, whatever size, maybe it's 10K a month. I'm not, whatever, but whatever size you get, realize that for the first 3 to 6 months, you may not have enough to cover. So you have to have that money kind of lying in stasis so that you can get to. But yes, I like the idea, especially if your area will accommodate it. Then you're fine. Like we're probably at some point we're going to get one, but in LA, you can have 5 banquet halls next to each other and they'll all be booked out. There's too many parties to cover the amount of banquet halls that there are. So yeah, I'm not opposed to it, but just, it's a big financial situation. It's really, really big. Okay, here's a weird question for you, CT. Slow songs, do you enjoy playing? What slow songs? No. This is because, first off, I don't enjoy playing slow songs unless I'm doing other things. But here's the God's honest truth. I don't play a lot of slow songs ever. I probably have I don't know, a crate of 20 to 30. But just slow songs on a party, I don't really play too often anymore. I play 1 or 2. So either I'm playing classic crooners or I'm playing something classic that can get everybody up. Now, I play slower music because I like a lot of alternative R&B. So it depends. There's a lot of stuff out there. I'm a big fan of what am I listening to right now? Stuff that I know a lot of people are not listening to. I can tell you that much. In my chill folder, which I spend probably 90% of my time in, just because obviously, you're DJing. I don't want to hear that stuff when I'm just in my own world. Yeah, Mickey Miller, Labyrinth, some chill Disclosure, some Gallant, some Tokyo Monster, some Active Child, Jacob Collier, MGMT, Caravan Palace, Marlowe, Steve Lacy, James Blake, Sunlux, love me some Sunlux, Still Woozy, Anomaly, On Planets, Yeba, love Yeba. Yeba's dope to me. Emok is dope. Karangaben, I don't know how you pronounce that name, but they make dope music. So yeah, that's kind of my vibe. That's my vibe when I'm not listening to everything else. Okay. Let's see here. Let's talk about burnout being a DJ. Why do we want to talk about burnout being a DJ? That's not good. That sounds bad. Oh, I can pen chat now? Well, that's convenient. But can I pen chat? I can't pen chat from OBS though. That would have made my life much better. Okay. All right. Okay. Timothy Cook, can you compare and contrast Rev 7 versus CDJs? Probably not. They're different. Which is better for you? Nothing is better for anybody. In all honesty, like there's nothing wrong with CDJs and there's nothing wrong with the Rev 7, and I can DJ just as good on both of them. I can't do as many scratch techniques on CDJs just because, you know, they're mechanical. So your hands have to be at a certain pressure. So when you release them, it's harder. So there's certain things I can't do, but they're fine and they're rock solid and they're dead locked on. So, you know, if you're using, I mean, Rev 7 is different because it's pretty much a digital lock too. But yeah, they're different though. They're different. But I love rocking. Like, I think, in all honesty, for most things, an S11 and CDJs is like the perfect combination. Honestly. I mean, you know, but having said that, you know, I'm a turntable guy. Let's talk about burnout being a DJ, the constant late nights, listening to crazy requests, trying to network with people when you are working. Email profile. Well, I mean, you definitely have an email profile. You know, everybody burns out on anything you do. You know, it could be me making YouTube videos. It could be, you know, me posting to social media, me cleaning the house up. You know, everybody gets burnout. So I think all burnout is all time related, and you have to give yourself a chance to take breaks. You got to be able to take breaks. If you don't take breaks, yeah, you're typically going to burn out. Because if you're doing what you love, it's not really burnout. It's just, you know, especially if you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again, that's usually when you get burnout. But if you're doing what you love and you're in the right position, then I feel like burnout takes a lot longer, you know. But when I have burnout, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to say no. It's okay to not do that one thing you needed to do, you know, pick and choose what you want to do. But constant late nights, listening to crazy requests, that's a part of the job. It's part of the job, you know, it's a part of the job. But yeah, you don't have to take the constant crazy nights, but everything you do, every choice you make is going to impact your bottom line, you know? So if you don't want to do the crazy nights, that means that you're probably an opener and not a headliner. So that means you're going to get paid less. You know, if you don't want to listen to crazy requests, then that means that, you know, clubs or whatever, they can request all they want. I don't care. That doesn't bother me, you know? But networking with people while you're working, don't network with people when you're working. That's probably the number one thing I would say. Go back on the days that you're not working and network then. You know, you can't do everything all at the same time because nothing gets done. Like right now, I'm perfect example. Look at me. I'm always transparent. Okay. Perfect example. I have probably 9 videos I need to get out. And because I have 9 videos I get out, I have like literal, I've been paralyzed because I'm like, which one should I get out first? Because there's so many around me. But the reality is you can only do one at a time. So you do one and then you do the next one, you do the next one. And the same thing applies if you're DJing. If you're like, you know, trying to DJ, and then you're talking to the bar guy. Hey man, let the owner know that I'm great. And then you find the manager. Hey man, you got any more spots for me later? You see how good I'm doing? Like, it's too much work. It's too much work. Do it after, or come in another night. Come in another night and be like, hey, I see this night is not as strong. Why don't you give me the opportunity? Maybe we can make this night better. Maximize when you're there. So you just gotta, I don't know. You have to balance out everything. Split the workload out a little bit. Okay. What is the state of the union between InMusic and Serato? Nothing at all. It's literally Steve Lacy cannot sing. Okay. I'm going to say we'll go back to you. State of the union. Nothing from what I understand. Cell's going through. So a lot for a little. Okay. DJ 6. Steve Lacy cannot sing. Why the hell is dude getting airplay? Okay. This is what I'll tell you. First off, Steve Lacy is not known for his singing. That's not why you listen to Steve Lacy. You listen to Steve Lacy for his content, for what he's saying, for the music. Although he does play pretty much a standard, 4 on the floor beat on every song, but there's something about him that just works. And I'm not saying you listen to every song, but the kids love Bad Habits. The first time I heard of Steve Lacy was on Ballers, and there was a track at the end of the show, and I was like, "Who the hell is this?" And what song was that? It was Dark Red. Dark Red. That song is bomb. I don't care what anybody sings. It doesn't matter that they can't sing. There's lots of people that couldn't sing. I mean, Bob Dylan was trash. People still loved his music. Anyway, is Perfect by Ed Sheeran played out? No. Toki Monster, not Turkey Monster. Yebba, Yebba. And none of this stuff is stuff that I'm necessarily playing for people. They don't know these people. Okay. All right. Yes, Catherine. I'm very aware of that. Yes, she's right. Steve Lacy was a part of the internet. And if you listen to the internet, that's another group that I listen to all the time. Either you like them or you don't, Okay. Let's see a couple more. Yeah, Pound Town is trash. I'm not gonna lie to you. The DBX drive rack. I don't know the Go rack. I know the drive rack. But no, they like cornered the market on drive racks. Okay. Todd. Stupid question. Can an older DJ like myself learn to scratch properly, or is it a thing that you have to pick up on early? Absolutely not. You can learn to scratch at any point in time. I mean, obviously, pain might be an issue when you're dealing with but in general, no, there's no age to DJing. Do your thing. Okay. What is a good practice routine when you have several pieces of DJ heat? Worked only on a Rev 7, then got back to the S11. So yeah, there are things that I have started to do for myself because I don't like the fact that I can't do certain things on certain pieces of hardware. And that's a perfect example. It's going from like a Rev 7 to a turntable, or going from a Rev 7, with the stem work and all that stuff, and then getting to an S11 and having to change your workflow. So there definitely is a thing. I just put some kind of roadblocks in place. Like for instance, I don't DJ anything plus. I only DJ ±8 now because I was finding myself getting too used to +16. Then I would go to places that had like, Techniques MK3s, and they only go up to +8. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm dead in the water. and it was ruining my ability to DJ. So I only do plus 8 minus. Anything that requires specific types of effects that I know aren't on other things, I won't do. Anything that requires, me having fast access to something, like for instance, my stems, I won't make it too complicated. The one thing I still need to do is put my silent Q on my Q.6 or 8. Sorry, not 6. 8. Q.8. Because that would fix my whole silent Q issue on the S11. It's the only thing that they still haven't fixed, and they're not going to fix. I want silent Q on the front. I don't need to have internal on the front. I just need the silent Q button right there where the internal is, but they're not going to fix that. So I have to put it on one of the buttons. So I'll probably put it on the Q button because it needs to be relatively close by. Okay. Sad reality, my 9 to 5 started layoffs, yet after the pandemic, DJ gigs for me have taken off. Not where I need to be, but a good start. Lots of event places. Yeah, exactly. And, being able to do multi things and being multifaceted is key. I think even if you are like open format, there is a limit to things I'll do. I'll do any open format. I'll do any type of like lounge vibe, because that's my space. I'm all about about the vibe music. But if somebody was like, hey, come over here and do 2 to 4 hours of Afro beats or Afro, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would say no, that's not my thing. That is not my thing. But you just got to know what you are. Gotta know what you are, and then maximize that. Add this group called Fink to your laid back music. Perfect Darkness. I will. I absolutely will. Matter of fact, I'll do it right now so I don't forget. Fink. Not funk. Fink. I'm gonna start playing this and I'm gonna be like, hey man, that's you. Perfect Darkness. Is that the song? Perfect Darkness? Or are you saying it puts you in like perfect darkness? Because I don't know if I want to go that deep. Perfect Darkness. There we go. Hold on. All right. So it's a little more, okay. I'll take a listen. I will definitely take a listen. Add to library. Okay. All right. Let's see. Thoughts on Serato Studio at its present state. Serato Studio is fantastic. Now, is it as deep as like Ableton Live or like Logic? Yes and no. I mean, it's not as deep as far as the ability to really go in there and make like macro changes and really get deep, but it's not supposed to be. Serato Studio has always been about making things easier and operate faster. Just for the sheer fact that you can just like hit the button and then the beat kick in, and then you hit the button, get in another beat kick in, like little things like that, or things just being in key when you drag them right onto the screen. But now that Serato Sample has updated to 2.0, it opens up the door for a lot of other programs now. So now you can use like Ableton Live more and just put everything through Serato Studio. I'm sorry. Put everything through Serato Sample, and then everything will just be in the proper key. So I like what Serato's doing. I do. I really like what Serato's doing. Now, if they can just make a controller for Serato Studio, a dedicated controller, I would be so happy. Eating behind the turntables. Absolutely. Yes, you can map it. All right, let's see here. When doing weddings, do you eat behind the turntables? Yes. I don't turn down food. I eat. Because you need to eat. You need to have your energy while you're DJing. 4 to 5 hours. I mean, think about this. You get there. Let's just say you get there 2 hours before your event. So let's say your event is a 7 to midnight or 6 to 11. Okay. So which means you get there at 4 o'clock, which means you probably only had lunch, and then you spend your next 2 hours setting up and everything. Then you got the cocktail hours, you're playing music or making last minute adjustments, whatever, then, 7 o'clock rolls around. Now you're doing the opening dance set. You haven't eaten for like 6 or 7 hours. If you try to wait, which I've all done, cause I'm gluten intolerant. So a lot of times the food they give me, I'm like, I can't eat this. So I've been through it. It's never a good thing to go till like 11 or midnight because you still have to break down. So maybe it's 1 in the morning when you're leaving. It's never a good idea to not eat that long. So definitely eat. I absolutely will eat. I absolutely will eat right behind the turntables. I'll have a napkin and everything, and then I'll eat. Maybe put on a couple of mix or longer songs while I'm eating. And I don't tend to eat while I'm DJing, like the party part. I'll eat when everybody else is eating. And then right before I'm ready to go back on, I'll go and clean my hands off. Problem solved. Audio One in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. Marky Batch says, I have fell in love with the Denon Prime Go. 3 different effects, layered if needed. The choice for... Yeah, it's a great box. I still love it to this day. Although I do like the Numark Mixstream Go Go because it's got paddles, so everybody's different. The layout's a little better on the Mixstream. DJ6 says, "Is it a good idea to practice mixing on 4 decks?" It's not a good idea or a bad idea. It's just if you want to do it, do it. I personally couldn't really mix 4 decks. I can go upwards of 3 decks, but 4, I don't know, just doesn't work for me. I know people that do it. Trace has had many 4-deck mixes, which were absolutely amazing. That's just not for me though. Okay. All right. Vendor meals for the win. Some vendor meals, not all. Okay. Let's see. Make sure it's only your gear that is broken down at the end of the night. Yeah, that's true. That's very true, Matt. I that feels like a personal thing. It's like something happened to you. M. Dizzik, you and Mojax need to write Serato for a recording controller. You've both got enough clout to get their attention. Steve, VDJ allowed 99 decks. I mean, what are we doing here? That's the kind of thing where when you would get like Ableton, this was a big thing in Pro Tools land. Pro Tools land was absolutely like, oh, I got a new computer. Well, how many tracks can you do? Well, I can do upwards of 45 tracks with effects and four effects on each track and compressors. Ooh, I just got a new one. I can do 80 tracks. Who cares if VDJ can do 99 decks? Who cares? Who absolutely cares? In what world is that something that anybody needs? I mean, as Chris Rock said, you can drive with your feet. That doesn't make it a good idea. Oh, gotcha, Matt. Go. But yeah, I've already brought up the controller thing to both Serato and Pioneer DJ. So cross fingers. Because it's important to me. It was one of the things, and it's so dumb. I know it's dumb. This is why I know it's dumb. So I have Ableton Live. I got a Push 2. It's a beautiful controller. And when I tell you I've used my Push 2 probably 3 times since I've owned it. Meanwhile, I'm in Serato Studio like, you need your own dedicated controller. But they do. And I'm actually gonna, now that Serato Sampler has stems now with Ableton, I'm gonna start using Ableton more. Absolutely. Is there a big difference between a Mac 4 and an Innofader? Depends on who you ask. If you ask some world-renowned amazing DJ, you ask Craze, you ask Buck Rogers, you ask Scratch Bastard, They'll tell you, it's all the same. But for me personally, the Innofader has a better cut than the Mag 4. The Magvel is very close to the Innofader. And I like the Magvel Pro over the Innofader for one reason. Every so often with Innofader, I will get a connection disconnect where I'm working the crossfader and it just like, it doesn't see itself as being open or closed, because it's a magnet basically. That's really the only thing. And it happens few and far between, but as far as the cut in on the Innofader, it's ridiculous. But, I think the Magvel is, even being a stock fader, has the best of both worlds. So I do like that one. I could mix from the next room. It's too bad In Music is on rocky ground with Serato, and a Kai controller for Serato would be amazing. Nobody's on rocky ground though. Serato thinks everything's fine. It's In Music that has the issue with Serato. Serato has no issue with In Music. It is what it is. But an Akai controller, yes, a Akai controller would be good. But keep in mind, Max, that Akai made the first push, and then the second push 2, was made in-house, and it was just as good. And I believe the push 3 is the same thing. It's made in-house. So I don't think it matters as much, but Akai makes good stuff. Although, depending on who you ask, some people have said Akai has gone downhill. I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't been deep in the production like I used to be, so I have no idea. All right. Let's see here. Cesar Dominguez. Might be a dumb question, but where can I go to get a feel for different playlists to guide me on creating my own? Mixcloud, yes. SoundCloud, yes. I would say do yourself a favor and go to Twitch and watch DJs perform. Audio One's a perfect example. Audio One's doing a whole freestyle mix today. Audio One's in the chat today. Go watch people like Audio One. Scratch Bastard DJs every, I think, Tuesday on Twitch. Jazzy Jeff DJs live all the time. There's a lot of amazing DJs on Twitch. So, and Mixcloud, just people don't typically go to Mixcloud all too much, but Twitch is a very good option for you. Push. Yes, DJ Ray, we're talking about a controller just for, so like an MPC type, but not all in one. Like, in an external is fine. Chris Villa, another dope guy. He's my guy too. He's my guy. Chris Villa is another dope DJ. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there. A lot. You get out there, you spend a month on there, you'll know. That's why I've always said, I came out of the pandemic a better DJ. And if you didn't come out of the pandemic a better DJ, I don't really believe you actually love DJing. I don't really believe you are really invested in DJing. I think it's a job and you're treating it as such. But to each their own. I know for a fact, DJ TLM is another one. Yeah. I know for a fact that when we came out of the pandemic, we booked a crap ton more parties than everybody else. Why? Because we were operating at a higher level. Because a lot of people came back and just were completely out of it. We didn't. Out of the pandemic, I came great out of drywall. I wish I had spent more time on drywall because that's a whole nother thing. I want to drywall my garage. Anyway, we need more brands on the market. Well, yes. I mean, yes, if we're talking about competition wise and just, being able to leverage everyone against each other. Yes, we do need more brands, but there are a ton of brands. They're just owned by one company. You know what I mean? So we do need more brands. It'll happen at some point. But it's hard. It's hard to get out there and, make a product that appeals to the masses. You know, it's just hard. But it's possible. I think a lot of brands keep coming out with products that try to do things differently instead of just making a really good product. And then what happens is, the world changes and they don't change with it. Okay. Are you getting a Hercules Impulse T7? I don't know. Maybe. It's so far from my thinking right now. It's not even important to me. I will probably get one at some point, but I just don't care. I don't care anymore. It's not a priority. If I get one, great, but it's just not a priority. My priority right now is getting the Mixon 8 review out. That's my priority. Absolutely my priority. Just so I can get it done and send it back and get it out of my studio. That's my priority. So it says Pioneer needs CT and Mojax on R&D. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Full disclosure. They come to us a lot. So, it's not like they're ignoring people. A lot of times they will come to us and say, hey, we're designing something. What do you think about this? If this were something that we made, do you think it would do well? Or we're in the first stages of this, and this is what we want the design to look like. They'll come to us and talk to us about that, and then I'll give my opinion, and then whatever happens from it. They actually bring people in at each phase. That's what I'm saying. Like the Rev 7. I mean, I saw the Rev 7 when it was just a design on a piece of paper, and then, a while down the line, I get called in to Pioneer DJ to take a look and give my opinion on it. And then in that same time, when they're getting my opinion, they're getting the opinions of other DJs, well-known DJs, YouTubers, whatever, to get their opinions too. So, it's not like, they're just making stuff out of the fly. They do ask for opinions. Do you think the fact that everyone is always looking to upgrade what they have is hurting the DJ market? No, I don't. Because I honestly don't believe that people are literally buying new products every time something comes out. I don't believe that. I believe that at a certain point, especially if you are a business, there comes a point where you're just like, it doesn't make financial sense to keep upgrading things. At a certain point, you have to stop upgrading so you can actually make a profit. This is probably our first year, maybe 1 or 2 years where we didn't buy ridiculously expensive stuff, and our profit margins have gone up because of it. Every year we were adding in a new whatever. So, that's how it works. I mean, the cell phones are like that, but for me, I have an iPhone. What is this? An iPhone 13. And, to be honest with you, I had an iPhone 10. That was the iPhone X. I loved the iPhone X. Wasn't going to upgrade it. They came out with the 11, then the 12. I didn't update to the 11. I didn't update to the 12. But then I dropped my phone in the pool, and the iPhone X had a lower water rating than these phones do, pressure-wise. So I ended up getting this one. This one's been a great phone for me. I don't have a reason to update this phone, except for the new phone will have USB-C. I will get the USB-C iPhone, and then I won't update my phone again until they get rid of the notch. And then I'll update it one more time. And then at that point, I won't have a reason to. My iPad Pro, they've gone through, I have the 11-inch non-button Pro, or buttonless Pro. And they've now come out with 3 different versions. There's no reason for me to update. I don't care how good it is. It would have to be absolutely amazing. And the fact that they keep not making prosumer applications means that I don't need it. There's too much power in it to begin with. Because some DJs I know suck and they think they're good. I don't want to be that guy. Okay. Well, yeah, I get it. A lot of DJs like to flex. I get that. But I don't know, man. You just gotta do your thing. If you like to buy gear, buy gear. If you don't like to buy gear, don't buy gear. Once I reach a certain level, I don't care anymore. So say, for instance, the S11, to me, pinnacle of mixers right now. Have no reason to update at all. No reason whatsoever. Would I like to have the Cross 12s? Yeah. Do I need the Cross 12s? No. Would I take the Cross 12s out of my house? No. So should I get them? No. My PLXs are absolutely fine. Especially because I'm on Phase. So there's certain things that I don't plan on updating. I just won't be updating them. But controllers, I mean, I've gone through several controllers. Now that I hit my Rev 7, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm good. I mean, I'll try the Rev 5 out. I might have the 5 as a backup, but I'm not going anywhere. Hold on. I am really excited about moving forward with our party. Yeah, I'm excited too. It should be a really good party. Just got a couple more questions before I sign the contract. So if you don't mind, let me just get out my questions here. One, what kind of lighting do you use? Specifically, do you use Chauvet? Yeah, I have a whole bunch of Chauvet lights, but I have a lot of other ones. There's a lot of good companies out there. Okay. Do you use RCF speakers? No, I use JBL and QSC, depending on the size of your party, but they're all good speakers. Okay. All right, let's see here. I still have the iPhone 11. Considering the update because of the camera, maybe I should just dust off my darn A6500 and just run the phone to the ground. Okay, so I look, this is an A7 IV right here, this camera right here. And I'm going to end up buying another one for my overhead and just be done with it. I love my A7 IV. Absolutely love it. The only problem with the A7 IV or any, camera like that is it's not always with you. So a lot of times when I'm out and about, like some of the gig logs that I haven't put out yet, I shot them primarily on my iPhone. Why? Because it was right there. Why? Because I could just get the shot I needed right there. So yeah, the quality won't be as good, but the cameras are so good now that I think that once I move up to the iPhone 15, I'm not going to need to update and I can just use that. Am I not going to use my A7? Absolutely not. That is a wonderful camera. It makes everything look better. But, when I'm like when I did DJX and I used the what do they call that thing? The Logitech camera. And I brought that along with me. Sure. Was the picture okay? Yes. Because I put it on top of my A7 IV as I walked around. Mevo, thank you. Mixmaster. Was it okay? Yes. But when I looked at the footage, because I recorded simultaneously my A7 IV and the Mevo, and I watched both footages back, night and day difference. Absolute night and day difference. So there's a point to where, I have to still be able to use my camera. For instance, I recorded my set at the club this Saturday. I didn't use my A7 IV. I just used my phone and what shot front? Oh, and I used the Mevo. I haven't even looked at the Mevo footage yet. I have no idea how the quality is, but I know it's dark, so it's probably not going to be as good as if I had shot the same field with my A7 IV. So there is a you can do both. You can do both is what I'm saying. I think there's a place for both of them. Okay. Young Nick, do you think using an external hard drive to free up space on your computer works? Because I'm running out of space and my Serato's starting to run slow. Yeah. I don't know how big your hard drive is. There's lots of people that use externals. I don't use externals for Serato. I use externals for all of my other stuff. So any of my video work, if I'm doing any type of large files for music, I'll put those all on external. I keep my Serato in my drive. But everybody's different. You can use an external drive too. I just have this fear of forgetting my external drive and then not having any music. So I prefer to have, or somebody walking into my computer and pulling out my cord. Nope, not dealing with that. So that's why I prefer to have it on there. So my MacBook 14 is a 2 terabyte version. And actually right now, if I do upgrade, and I'll only upgrade my MacBook Pro 14 for one reason and one reason only. Right now, I can DJ a 4-hour party without plugging in my computer. Just enough. 4 hours, like on the dot. And if I'm using like, I don't know, phase, or if I'm powering a controller, then that number is going to drop down a little bit. Like when I was using, like when I'm powering up for like Sound Switch, like that one, that would suck in a lot of power, and I wasn't getting the 4 hours. I was getting like 3 hours and like 25 minutes or 20 minutes. If they make this 14 last 6 to 10 hours like they have for the 16-inch version, I would update without hesitation. That's it. That's the only reason. Besides that, this is the best computer I've ever owned. I have no reason to update. And this is an M1. Okay. What's your thoughts on using a cell to DJ? Hey, more power to you. I can't personally use a cell phone to DJ. So it's not an option for me. The smallest I will get is an iPad. Because I don't want to have to search and look for stuff and try to get to effects. Like, nope. iPad is the size for me. Now, if you want to do it for fun, hey, I'm just messing around. I got my little cell phone up here. Fine. But I don't think a cell phone is the right choice for DJing. Now, of course, remember USB-C coming up in like 2 weeks. I technically could use my cell phone. Okay. What is it? 12:50. Going later than I hoped. Let's see. I have a 1 o'clock, so I have to go. The good news is my 1 o'clock is a Google Meet. So I just hang up with you and turn that one on. So that's great. 1 o'clock, 1:30, 4:30, 4:45. Where do all these people come from? Okay. Somebody asked me if I did a DJ battle. No, I've never done DJ battle. Never. Maybe one day I will when I'm older. Problem at events, battery is gone from the phone. It can't be cabled. Yeah, I mean, there are options. Like, nowadays you can go with the external charging. You can go that route now because I have one of those that I could use. Did I ever trademark my DJ name or logo? No, it's my name. I don't need to trademark my own physical name. So no, I've not trademarked my name. Is it worth doing a challenge to give away some of your unused gear to your reviews? Like the Maui G3s. I use my Maui G3s. I'm not giving those away. You're out of your mind. I love those things. I love my Maui G3s. Absolutely love them. They are not for every party, but when they are for the party, they are fantastic. I love them. But in general, most gear that I get, give or take, you're not really allowed to keep. I have like extended time with them. Now, there are some things that like I still have the Rain 1. My son uses the Rain 1 now. And he, technically speaking, legally, it's not mine. I'd have to send it back. So I couldn't sell it. Now, there are certain things where I'm like, hey guys, I'm keeping this. This is mine. They're like, okay, I get it. But in general, if they were like, hey, we need all your product back, I had to have to send it back. All that Rain stuff. So, all the in-music stuff. There's a couple of things that like, I know that they don't think about it anymore, but like in general, you really can't give it away. Do you know if the Magville can be put in a Rain 1? No, it cannot. You put an Innofader in a Rain 1. That's your option. And then it'll be much better with the Innofader. DJ Clovey from South Africa. Good evening. Like the apple tattoo in Wild Hogs. That's trademarked. Yeah, but it's in my skin. Mark, this is ironic. Mark, is it Suber? Can I make money if I add a sub to your setup? Can make money if you add subwoofer to your setup. So no, technically you don't make money by it, but you deliver a better product, which will then get you more bookings. You did not win, T Diesel. You did not win those Mackies. I will be giving those Mackies away. I really will be. It'll just have to be a California delivery because I can't send them away. But yes, yeah. I think that most people should rock a sub. I think subs are important to parties, and you should definitely do it. You can send me the Rain 4 and we can say we don't know what happened. I could, but I'm gonna send it back. This one in particular, because I get pre-release models. Keep in mind, so sometimes things will not be working the way they're supposed to be, and I have a glitch on mine, so it wouldn't even be worth sending it to somebody. In all honesty. Thoughts on the QSC KS112 sub? It's a good sub. It's a good sub. I mean, that's my thoughts. Still use the Bose 32. I don't use them myself, but we do use them in the company. I have 2 sets of Bose 32, so they still go out. But for me now, I use one of 2 systems. If the party gets up to about 120 and the room's not ridiculous, I'll use my Maui G3s. If it's anything above 120, 125 or the room, I'll bring my QSCs. That's where I am right now. And then we'll see. That all could change. But like if I'm going to use, because if I was going to use my Bose, it'd be the same thing as using my Mauis. And I prefer the sound coming out of the Mauis, even though technically speaking, they're not as loud. The sound is better. It's a fuller, warmer sound, in my opinion. Can't find the face slip mats anywhere for my Ref 7. Are there anything similar that you would consider? Yeah, so the guy Desmond that makes them looks like they're sold out, and I haven't seen anything else. But I think like 12-inch skins. So one of those companies has slip mats too. There is another company that has them, the rings. Okay, last question and I'm out, or last couple of questions. How's the nightlife scene in Cleveland? Was planning on moving there. Much appreciated. It says DJ Victor Nova. Well, the nightlife in Cleveland, I'm married. So my nightlife is contingent on what my wife's nightlife looks like. So, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I say that with all the sarcasm in the world because DJ Victor Nova, I don't live in Cleveland. It's my name. Cleveland is my name. Cleveland, Terry is my name. It's funny after we just made the joke about trademarking my name. Yeah, and then you can always cut your slip mats. Oh, I know. Victor didn't know. I know. Trust me when I tell you. I've been doing this is like I think my 7th year, and people still tell me they don't know. I run into people left and right, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that was. I thought that was where you lived." It is what it is. Yeah, so I think they're in my drawer. But this right here, this is what I made my Rev 7 slip mats out of. Make your own. Make your own. Take the Rev ring, flip it over, as you can see here. Look. See the lines? That's what I did. I just put it down, put the ring over it, trace the ring, and then cut it out. Problem solved. Make your own. And to be honest with you, I find that the ones that are a little heavier and a little thicker tend to feel a little better than the super thin ones. Okay. Oh, and Dizik said he purchased Rev 7 slip rings on eBay. There you go. My mixed screen probe grill lasted 4.5 hours, but I wish the screen was tilted. I agree. I agree with that. Okay, you have 1 minute. Okay. Wally Banks, is the Rev 5 a better investment than paying the extra for the 7 for a typical wedding? See, this is a question that you have to ask yourself. You got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, do I want a Rev 5 or do I want a Rev 7? It's the extra investment is not really an extra investment because they're different products. They are. You know, you got moving platters on one and non-moving platters on another. I know people act like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. It changes the way you DJ with moving platters versus non. Does it change it dramatically? No. Is the Rev 5 lighter? Yes. Is it a little smaller? Yes. But I love the Rev 7. I don't know what wedding DJ has to do with the Rev 7 being too much for it. You're a DJ. You do your thing. You know what I mean? You DJ and you do your thing and you call it a day. I think it's great. Now, is the Rev 5 great? Yes, it's a great controller. But people that compare the Rev 5 to the Rev 7, they're not the same. The Rev 5 is a hybrid. It's a hybrid. It's a Rev 7 and the Flex 10 had a baby. That's where you are. You know, maybe even the Flex 6 a little bit, but only on the good parts. Is there a DVS sound card with 4 decks? So 8 ins and outs? Yeah, the Reloop Elite has that. I believe the S11, I don't think it does, but I know the Reloop Elite does. Cali LACT, new DJ name. Rev 7 don't have 3 and 4 channel mixing capabilities too. This is true. Does it matter? I'm not trying to put down anybody and it's one, but I'm trying to say, everybody that's like, I need 3 decks. Do you really need 3 decks? I mean, honestly, I think some people it's like deck envy. I need to have 3 decks. I need to have 4 decks. Do you really need 4 decks? Or do you really need 2 decks and a deck for your auxiliary and a deck for your microphone? Because that's 4 decks. But if your system has 2 microphone inputs and it has a dedicated aux, well, you're solving the same thing. And the S11, it's not really 4 decks. Yes and no. They have a deck move. It's an internal third deck, but it's not really. It's not a true dedicated deck. All right. Okay. Technically, Serato is 4 deck, not the hardware. No, because you can't use 4 decks with Serato if the hardware doesn't allow it. Regardless, it has to be the hardware. So the XZ has 6 decks. No, the XZ is limited. Is very limited in what it can do. All right. Normally I would stay on and then bring out Serato and we'll take a look at all that stuff, but I can't because I got a 1 o'clock conference call right now and they want me on. So I thank everybody for hanging out today. Appreciate you. You guys, always a pleasure being here and talking the shit with you. It's always good. You are distracting me. Sorry, Timothy. I didn't mean to. I'll be back obviously next Thursday. Hopefully, if I can get through all these calls. My only focus today is getting that Mixon 8 review done. That's it. Absolutely the only thing. So, DJ Farns, thank you for the super chat. I know that somebody else did a super chat earlier. I appreciate that too. Thank you so much. Gotta go, but enjoy the rest of your day. Have great parties this weekend, people. See you later.